don't close out of this completely. Okay. And then,
And it's a very class one.
Okay, nice. That's nice.
Personality.
Oh, awesome. All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming to my class today.
Thank you for being in class today. How nice of you to take your time.
We've got a lot of information to go through because we had Mary Garner here yesterday, who's absolutely wonderful.
Great. Yes.
We are jamming 2 sessions into one today. So we are doing both the buyer consultation and find and show homes.
Great.
So we've got a lot to go through. There's a lot of information in both of these packets in Ignite. I do want to veer away a little bit, especially for
If they print them, or should we hold
you have, okay, let me check the box and see if there's any extras, and if not, you can make just one payment on the computer. Okay. Do you know how to get to those, Julie?
Yeah.
See, yeah, sure. And of course, I'll have it up here for you to look at.
I have to get my computer.
Okay, and we'll have it up here. I don't think you really need it,
Oh,
because as you go through it, well, I'll have it up on the screen.
Oh, okay. They have a script and all that on paper.
Okay.
We're not.
Do you mind making a couple of copies so that?
You made
Do you need a copy? What? Of the consultation and financial homes, or you can order one back to you back?
It's not great.
Sure.
Yes. My name's like,
It's you have it online, but
At least you're gonna print. You mean that's cute.
yes.
I had to know. No, I'm good.
Okay.
I had the script. Give me
And
this.
everything. Okay.
Yeah, I had. Lisa's go print a few copies. Because sometimes it has some stragglers too.
Perfect. So we're going to try to stick to the material as much as possible, but what I would like to do is get inside MLS a little bit, show you OPIS. Those are things that are really important for you to know.
Sorry.
That's okay. So we'll actually look at some real life situations here in class as well. So just to give you a little bit of background about me, I am originally from Durham. And I went to ECU for my bachelor's degree. Got a degree in psychology. And from there, we moved to Raleigh and lived there for about 8 years. And I worked for Martin Marietta Materials. And started out as a benefits specialist, and then I was a pension administrator, and then a comp specialist. So I did a little bit of everything, handled the retirement plans, and did some recruiting and all that fun stuff. And then Alan and I packed up and decided we were going to move to Greenville and start our careers in real estate. So that's what I've been doing since. Started out with Hardy Associates, which was a boutique company. Came to Keller Williams almost 3 years ago, and it has changed my world, I will tell you that. The tools and the systems that the company has to offer have been wonderful for me, and also the information, the power behind your mindset change. So when I first started out in real estate, I think there was a lot of frustrations that I had because I didn't have those tools that I needed. And so we're going to go through some of those tools now so that you'll have those under your in your tool belt as well. So what would you guys, is there anything in particular that you would like to get out of this class?
Knowledge.
Are you having any trouble getting the resources that you need for your buyer consultation? Are you doing buyer consultations? Where are you guys at?
I started doing buyer consultations since I've been back.
Okay, awesome. How is that going?
It's going good. I've walked them through what to expect and looking at homes and purchasing and going through the contract and everything. And it's,
Yeah, I think, did you sell her first house?
Oh,
Awesome. That was part of the broadcast. Okay, I like that. It is cool.
absolutely.
I think inspiration.
I think what I've been doing is, you make the initial contact. Normally they call and say, we want to see this house, this, and which I may be doing it incorrectly because I don't bring them into the office, but I do have like a spreadsheet that I've come up with that kind of has the steps that they need to go through and questions to ask. So I actually do it at the first meeting while we're at the house they wanted to see.
Right.
So I am, kind of sort of taking a chance of wasting my gas, wasting my time, going to the house. But sometimes I think they feel more comfortable because they've made the request to see the house, and it's not such a formal sit down in an office meeting that a lot of people fear. But yet I am getting the information I need from them.
Now, are you asking for buyer agency at the time? Do you get
I
that
have
far?
it with me.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a contract with me
Okay,
that, I'm ready to have them sign if they're ready.
awesome.
And, of course, questions about lenders and where they are in their process. And then I have just some little things that people don't think about, like closing costs and things that they might want to consider, because a lot of people, especially first-time home buyers, don't know they
Don't know that.
don't know, and you don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
So I've just kind of made myself, I guess, a punch list or a checklist of things to do.
Good deal.
Help me.
Yeah,
Teach me more.
And part of the buyer consultation, the reason that I find it so important is that when I get a phone call, they want to see a house, and you show them the house, I feel like a lot of times they're getting what they want anyway, and so to try to get the appointment or to try to hang on to them, I find is a little more challenging. Whereas if I can get them on the phone and talk to them about the buyer consultation and what a value it is to them to get some education on the real estate process, usually I find that they're willing to come in and spend 30 or 45 minutes, with me just learning. And I always ask for, representation. Do they want my representation at that time? And I would say 9 times out of 10, they say yes. And so I just had a good experience with them. And the times that I have just jumping in, I do not feel like I've gotten really what I wanted to get out of my buyer consultation. So, but we'll talk about those. And what you're doing, there's nothing wrong with doing that. And you'll find whatever works best for you. So, I'll give you some pointers, and if you try it and it works better for you, great. And if your way works good for you, that's awesome too. Part of as a buyer's agent, our job is to get inside the minds of the buyers. And we are really an extension of them. They are looking to us to be able to help guide them through the process. And we're going to do a little bit of a bold experience during our class today, and I'll show you kind of, how a buyer feels when they get started, or you'll get to experience kind of how they feel when they get started in the experience, and they're just really looking at you to be a guide. So part of that is to educate them on the process and how you operate. So if you if you only show homes on Wednesday nights and Saturday mornings, you can tell them what your schedule is. So you can kind of set them up to understand the way that you operate your business. which I find is very helpful for them too. So anything that you can educate them on up front is just going to make it a better experience for them and you in the long run. It's going to make it more seamless. So get your head in the game is the first thing we're going to start with. I say get your head in their head. I don't know, can you guys, does someone want to read what Sean Kokoska, who is an agent, and he's Diana Kokoska's son, he's a buyer specialist. Does someone want to read this little excerpt? Anybody?
I'll read it for you. Sean Kokoska, mega agent and buyer specialist on the Kokoska team, learned the importance of always doing a buyer's consultation the hard way. It was his wife's birthday, and he had promised her they would spend the day together. But first thing in the morning, he got a call. The team's call coordinator had just talked to some very motivated buyers who only needed to see the inside of one of their listings, and if they liked it, they'd buy it. Sean started to add up the commission in his head. It was a hot market, and the house was in the $500,000 range. He told his wife that he'd meet the buyers at the house at 9:30, had the offer written by 11 at the latest, and they would still have the rest of the day together with a nice commission check to celebrate along with her birthday. Sean met the buyers at the house, and they loved it. He went for the close and asked, "Would you like to write an offer?" They responded, "Yes," but before he could get excited, they continued, "Thanks so much for letting us get inside. We'll have our real estate broker write up our offer today." This was a turning point for Sean. He decided then and there that he was no longer going to organize his precious time around the whims of buyers. That bitter disappointment on such a special day ultimately led to the creation of systems that I still use today to ensure my time is used as effectively as possible.
Any ahas from that story?
What a kick in the face.
It's with the current house, we show the house, you know.
The better way to do that is to have buyer agency agreement. I mean,
Right. Oh, yeah, that,
you know, I say do your homework, and then you don't have to even worry about procuring calls, you know.
Right. Obviously, they already had a buyer's agent.
And they already had a buyer's agency agreement.
right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Wow.
Any ahas?
I think a lot of people don't understand agency, period. I actually got a lead from a Keller Williams agency in Maryland. Yeah, assuming it was a legitimate lead and everything, met the people at the house, and they already had a buyer's agency agreement with another agent here, who they did not care for and didn't want to use him anymore, but they already had that agreement in place.
Right.
For 6 months. But I didn't realize that until we started, you know, a lengthy conversation at the house.
Right.
But again, I don't know that you can ever protect yourself completely, but certainly a buyer's consultation.
Absolutely. Would that not
Yes.
admit that in the board bud?
Yeah.
And I find when I do a buyer consultation, if it's somebody who is an A buyer, like Wayne talked about, spend an hour and a half with them. If you're not quite sure, you know, run through it with them for 30 minutes. I mean, by the
But
time
they
you
didn't
go,
even understand what they had signed.
right,
And they had actually made an offer on another house. And I said, I feel sure if you made an offer, you have an agency agreement. Well, no, we don't. No, we don't. And again, I kept asking, are you sure? You need to go home and look at the paperwork that you signed. Then she calls me back later that night and says, we did.
Mhm.
We did sign an agency agreement, and it's for 6 months.
Right.
And I'm like, well, you have an agent.
Right.
But he didn't explain it to her, and she didn't understand.
People don't.
And they don't understand.
They don't read, and that's another reason to sit down with them.
Yeah.
And I'll show you what my buyer package looks like when I go through during a buyer consultation. Like I said, I want to get to some real life meat of what we do, and kind of go through it with you as if you guys were my potential clients, so that you can see what we go through. But just answering all of those questions up front. And like I said, the frustrations that I had when I first got into the business, and then having these tools now, if we use them, you guys, I mean, you'll just be the frustration will just go away, because you'll eliminate all of it. You'll try to get all those questions answered up front. So, good deal. Okay, so this is the first step really, past your lead generation. You're looking for business, This is the next step to getting your paycheck at the end of the day. This is when you're really getting into the meat of it. I will say when I get a lead, when I am doing my lead generation, I do always ask for the appointment. And to me, it's easier to get an appointment when you know that you have something of value to give them. You know, hey, why don't you come in and meet me? I have a free, no obligation buyer consultation. You can come in the office with me. I'll go over the steps to buying a home. And, that gives them something that they may not have known that they could get anywhere else. So usually, I will find that because I'm giving something of value, they'll come in and sit down and meet with me for a few minutes. So just keep that in mind. I think a lot of times when we're trying to get the appointment, we don't know what to say to get the appointment. But if we're giving them something, a lot of times, they're more apt to come in and meet with you. Okay. So what do you think the first step of a buyer consultation is? They come in the door and they say, I need to see Tammy Brocker, whoever they're here to see. What do you think the first step would be? You come down, you meet them, hi, I'm Tammy, nice to meet you. What would be something that you could do to develop rapport with them right away?
We need some water.
Absolutely.
Does it
Mm-hmm. Because we can have the knowledge of real estate, but I think what's going to set us apart is to deliver the customer service. So absolutely. Ask them if they want a cup of coffee or water. I mean, I think keeping some bottles of water in the refrigerator for your clients is a great idea. And, show them around the office. Introduce them to people. Introduce them to Jennifer or, Lisa. Introduce them to folks and show them around the office. I think that just automatically, develops a rapport with them. And then once you do that, take them into the conference room and and get going. Let me show you just a little bit about what is in my package. We have refrigerator magnets. So thing to do, we also put our calendar in there. I already brought Team Calendar. And I find the Glimpse magazine is a good one to put in there from the Chamber of Commerce. They have plenty. You guys can go there anytime and pick up a whole box of these if you want. These are not only good for your clients, but they're good for you too, because if you ever want property tax information, it's right here in the book. So I always show them, if you want to know property tax value or what you're going to pay in taxes, it's in this Glimpse magazine. So you guys are welcome. I'll leave this up front for you guys to look at too. The Daily Reflector puts out living in Pitt County. This is some other great information. This will tell you about a little bit of everything in Greenville. Major employers. Who doesn't want to know that? Especially if you've got a relocation buyer. Don't they want to know?
Especially if the husband is they're relocating because of the husband's job and the wife hasn't found anything yet. That's really valuable.
How often does that come out?
Once a year. Yep.
And where do you get them now?
Daily Reflector. Yep. Get them from the Daily Reflector. If you guys wanted to team up too, I know I have a few left, but if we want to make a run or schedule somebody to make a run to the Chamber of Commerce or the Daily Reflector, we'll go get all this stuff and put our packages together. So all kinds of good information.
And how much are they, please?
They're free.
Oh, they're free.
Restaurant guide.
Okay.
How long? I mean, the stuff is already done for us. We didn't have to reinvent the wheel. So that one's a really helpful. For those of you who do not know, come see me. If you want some Keller Williams folders, these are free for you. I've got a whole big box of them that we ordered. These are good. I put all of my information inside. You can put your business card inside. I have a Working with Real Estate Agents, which I always go over, the first thing I go over in my buyer consultation is the working real estate agent form. So when I go through the working with real estate agent form, I say, it is my job, and the commission requires me to go over this with you. So we're going to take a few minutes to talk about that. Because the last thing that we want to happen is for, someone that we don't represent to tell you more information than we need to hear before we've gone over this working with real estate agent form. This also sets you apart. I think it makes you look very professional when you bring this out and say, this is required, by the commission. This is something that we need to go over. So, of course, you talked about how there's really 3 different types of agency. There's a buyer's agent who fully represents the buyer. They're their eyes, their ears, their advocate. You are, like I said, an extension of the buyer. They want you to be a part of them. Same thing with the seller. You are there to represent them to their full interest. You market their property, but you also try to get them the best price and terms possible. And you fully represent them. You advocate for them, all that good stuff. And then, of course, there's the dual agent, and that's when you're the middleman. And at that point, you can no longer advise. That is another reason to have a buyer consultation, because if you do have the consultation and then you go and show one of your listings, then they know. You say, hey, this is one of my listings. I'm going to have to put my dual agency hat on right now. I cannot advise you. Of course, if there's any material facts, then I will disclose those because we are required to. But, you're going to go in there and they're going to know that you can't. If you go into a house and you're not representing it, you can say whatever really you want to within reason. Mm-hmm. But when you're listing a property, then you're working for both. So remember who you're working for. So when you're walking in, you don't want to say, oh my gosh, this furniture is awful. I cannot believe, or these paint colors are hideous. You're representing the seller. So you have to make sure that you're giving them factual information. We want to give them factual information regardless, but but we want to stick to that, not veer away. So once you are a dual agent, you can no longer advise. You only can work out the terms and the price of the contract. So if they want to see, you've already prepped them. You've already said, I can do full, comps for you on any house. So once you prep them in a buyer consultation, they can ask you for that information, and then you can get it for them. But when you're representing a listing agent, that may be compromising the listing's interest if you were to go that far. So just kind of be careful with how you use your tools.
But
so
what about what you say when it's tenant listing when you're representing?
Still dual agency.
You don't know as much about.
I don't, but I really can no longer. It's a designated dual agency because I'm not working as closely with them. I still wouldn't want to beat down Tina's listing regardless. I don't really beat down any listing, but I mean, it's still a dual agency. So I just would be careful. So just prep them as much as possible up front. I think that's really the best way to handle it. These are some pieces of paper that I got from Suzanne Ludwig when she came, I think, last year. I don't know if anybody was here for that. Buyer criteria. This helps me keep up with some of those questions that Wayne talked about. It helps me keep up with what they're looking for when we do the needs analysis. How many bedrooms, bathrooms, school system. I like this question. Have you seen any subdivisions that you like? They've driven around, they've told you I like, XYZ subdivision. I find that one's really helpful. So I'll leave this one up here. This one is on the edge. It's a buyer HC questionnaire, buyer consultation questionnaire rather. This kind of gets into their lifestyle. This really, really gets into their head. And they love this one because you are really getting to know them. And I find this one to be super helpful because as I'm showing homes, and we'll talk about this a little bit, you not only talk about the features of the home, but you talk about the benefits of the features of the home. So instead of walking in and saying, you know, oh, you know, this is they have gas logs and hardwood floors. You know, maybe they have pets. Maybe they wanted a fireplace because they envisioned their family sitting in the den reading books in front of the fireplace. So instead of pointing out the features, you're going to point out the benefits of those features to that family. So that's why this is another important, these are two important things to use, tools to use for your needs analysis so that you can get to know them as best that you can, because if you're going to advocate for them, if you're going to be an extension of them, then you want to make sure that you ask those questions. So
You know
that
that
you
makes it feel good too.
oh my gosh!
It's got to.
But they look at you because they've never, I don't think, experienced it a lot of times. So they're like, why do you need to know? You know, but then you explain to them, this is going to help me because when you go to look at homes for them, you don't want to go in there blindly and select 5 homes. You want to get down as specific as you can. So this is really helpful. You guys want copies of these? I will share whatever I have.
How would you feel like?
Okay, absolutely. Okay, so this one is my favorite one. Here are a few of my favorite things. So once you ask them about their lifestyle, what do they like to do? How do they like to spend their time outside? What are your children's names and birthdays? What's your favorite flower? Favorite restaurant? Favorite shopping, vacation spot, music? What if they give you a referral? Guess what? You know what to send them. I like Starbucks. I like Dunkin' Donuts. I like trips. You know, you have that on hand. You can upload this into eEdge and have it forever and ever and ever. You know, this is one of my favorites because I'm a high. So, anyway, this one is a really cool one to use. So, and then beyond that, other than my home buyer guide, we've got all kinds of stuff.
Is your homeowner guide on the edge?
The one that we use is from Pro, but they've got one that is just as good that it's not Pro. I just bind mine up, put a little bit of information about the Hardy and Rock team on there. So, you know, I think they're both great. This one just looks a little bit different.
And that's an eEdge that you use.
Pamphlet on property surveys. I think we should tell them the importance of having a survey done, right? This is a Greenville Utilities pamphlet. Talks about the E300 program and energy efficiency. Are they moving? Do they need a mover to help them out with? Help them out with their move? Child care services. I mean, honestly, these kinds of things, like the move and jump it, I go around and ask, especially if I'm meeting somebody who is an allied resource, hey, you know, I've got buyer packages. Would you like for me to put one of your brochures in my buyer package? I used to have Oakwood School in there. I ran out. But I do. I just compile, whatever I think that might be of interest to them, I put it in there. This is a map that we ordered a long time ago that actually I don't know, I'm sure you can still get these. It's a map of Greenville. The reason I like this map is because it has every single street name on there. I love Google Maps. I love my phone, but to have something that I can pinpoint and somebody say, I like this area, or I like this area, or we can highlight, different subdivisions, and they even have, the university is labeled on here, the airport. So for anybody who, or maybe they don't have an iPhone or a smartphone, so I think putting a map in there is nice. Home warranty information. I'm a huge advocate of a home warranty. When I first started in real estate, I thought that they were like any other coverage. I didn't think that they were hugely beneficial. As I have been putting them on all of our listings, and then, trying to get one when we negotiate on a buyer's behalf, I have found that they have been very beneficial because we get cards in the mail saying that they've been used. If they never use these, then it's like anything else. You don't see the value in it. But if they have something like a roof leak, or roof and HVAC, I think, are the largest, that you can have on a home. So when you have a home warranty on your property, when something like that happens, it's a huge benefit. So if you do have it and need it, then you're really happy that you have one. So I do go over those as well. Any questions so far? Okay. So while we are here, and I can't really, I'll pass this around once I go through it, and we'll go through it really quickly. The first thing I go over in a buyer consultation is the home buying process. The reason I find that this is so important, I always like to make sure that my clients know what the next step will be. So I said, you know, as we're going through, you can just check off like where we are in the process so that you know what's coming up next. Because no one likes to know, everyone likes to know what is coming up next. They don't like to be blind by the situation. And with that in mind, I'd actually like for you guys, who's attended gold? Most everyone in here. So most of you have done the exercise. And I would like to do it again for the few of us who haven't been involved. I would like to do that exercise. So what we're going to do, you guys know what I'm getting ready to do? No? Okay. What I would like to do is if everybody could stand up and come to the front of the room, this will give you an opportunity to stretch things and listen to me. Yeah. And get with a partner. Please pick a partner. Our partner.
Well, Nancy.
Pick me. Okay. Okay, awesome. All right. Okay, so this is what I want us to do. I want one person to be to close their eyes, and I want the other person to lead them around. And we're gonna just be careful because it's kind of close, but lead them around the room with your eyes closed. You do them?
Yeah, we did, yeah, because the first time we didn't do it with my.
Okay. So maybe everybody on this side of the room, we're going to close our eyes, okay? And then we're going to actually, no, I'm changing my mind, sorry. The back row, close your eyes, and the front row is going to be leading. So if you'll turn around and just let the person put their hand on your shoulder.
Okay.
Or however you feel most comfortable. And the person in the back, I want you to go ahead and close your eyes, okay? So as you walk around the room, we're just going to spend a couple of minutes. The person in the front is going to talk to them about what is going on and where they're going, and they're going to have to really put a lot of trust in you, okay? So let's just take a few minutes and then walk around the room and lead them, okay? All right, we're going to walk through the table. And don't worry about the bright lights. Straight past that. Okay, let's take a right here. And then, okay. Now we're going to kind of just turn in a circle. Okay. Yeah, we're going to turn to the right.
To go around the table, turn to the right.
Are you okay? Okay, first turn to the right. You're comfortable, right? Yeah, Can everybody turn? Alright, so everybody stop now, and then I want you to change people. So the person turn around, and the person that is in the back now is going to close their eyes, okay? Now go ahead and go try to take us to the front of the room. You guys
Stay straight. Go to the right. Stay straight. Okay. Right here. Left. Okay. Keep going. Turn left. Keep straight. Keep straight.
She is a lawyer.
Keep straight. Turn left. Turn left. Keep straight.
Head back to the front.
Okay. Keep straight. Keep It's a chair, turn left. It's a chair on the right, left, middle, and right. You got this. You got these directions. Yeah. You're like,
Everybody in front, okay. So, in that exercise, who do you think was the agent? Who do you think was the agent?
The leader.
And who was the client?
Me. I was not.
The one with the Now, how did you feel when they were giving you instructions?
Bowen was very good, very descriptive. Go out pictures and
Very descriptive. Oh my goodness, okay? Very
So you
descriptive.
never were in the red, I think we're going to Lisa's office, I mean, he had to go on.
Perfect. So he was educating you, right? That was really important. Now, how did you feel? There were times when I didn't say anything at all, Jennifer. How did you feel when I wasn't saying anything?
Those were the times when I got the most apprehensive.
Right.
Like we passed the light and you got real quiet over here and I was like, she's taking my office.
Yeah.
I need down.
So you didn't know what was going on. But whenever you were given the next step, didn't that make you feel more confident in yourself? So I found that this is a really, you guys can sit down, thank you very much. I found that to be, it just really, a light bulb turned off on when we did that exercise in bold because it really does show you the importance of educating your buyers and giving them the next step in a transaction. So thank you for doing that with me. So having a checklist, having something that they will know what is going on is going to, so, you know, it's just going to be hugely beneficial to you. And you can always get them to refer back to that so that they will know what is going on. Hey, this is the next step. Don't you remember we talked about it in the buyer consultation? Flip to page 1 and you'll see, you know, that this is our next step. Of course, talking about financing concerns is probably the next thing on my list. Have you spoken with the lender? Where are you in the home buying process? And I get the full gamut. I mean, either they have spoken with the lender, they're pre-qualified, they're ready to go, or they haven't even gotten to that point. They really just want to know, get some knowledge about the home buying process. And that's when I educate them. And I may only spend about 30 minutes with them, and I'll tell you, I don't really do that needs analysis. I say, you know what, let's spend this time just educating you on the home buying process, and we'll come back at a later date and go over the needs analysis, because by the time they get pre-approved, their needs may have changed. You know, they could be pregnant, and, you know, by the time we meet 3 months from now, if that's when they get pre-approved, you know, their needs may have changed. So, you know, you kind of have to tweak this consultation to the customer or your client's needs. But do ask them about that. Keep in mind, Karen Russo, I have used her a couple of times, and she's absolutely fabulous. She has taken care of my clients.
She's been working with us
Mhm.
on a refi thing, and she's really, really helpful.
She's really, well, and the other thing is that she's patient, and she informed me all along the way, but when something came up, she didn't freak out about it. You know, she was just really calm, but she handled it.
Right.
So I thought that was really good. Here's another thing. People want to know what a lender is going to ask for. So in my package, I do have a list of everything that they will look for. W-2 forms. I think sometimes people feel like they're being picked on, and I found that, like, they don't treat me, they treat me differently than maybe somebody else. Well, it's right here in the book, and they want the same things from everybody. So, talk to them about the importance of that. Also, this is kind of a funny little checklist I put in my buyer package. The 10 commandments when applying for a real estate loan. This is another. Let's see. Thou shalt not spend money you have set aside for clothing. I mean, duh, but it's just kind of. Thou shalt not buy furniture. Thou shalt not change bank accounts. Thou shall not buy a car, truck, or van, or change jobs. You know, like I said, if you to stop, if you want your transaction to go smoothly, let them know these things up front. They may not know otherwise. And if they were to happen to you during the process, shame on you, because you didn't give them the knowledge that they needed to have a smooth
Karen
transaction.
also had something similar. It's not the Ten Commandments, but it's the, what buyers should do and not do during the loan. She sent me the little flyer on that, which is really,
Yeah.
really good as well.
Absolutely. Okay. Discuss it with them, and I know Wayne touched on this too, discuss with them the differences between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval. Does everyone know the difference? Okay. Also, what kind of lender are you borrowing from? I know usually, like, there's large banks, and then there's the smaller banks here in town, the little bank, Southern Bank. I can name any other ones.
Broker direct.
Broker direct.
Broker or direct. I mean, are those a difference?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So you either go through Wells Fargo and get a Wells Fargo loan, or you can go through a broker. Here we have mortgage professionals, and they can get a loan with Wells Fargo or BB&T, and they can shop around. So they do have options with that. What are the different types of loans? They're either fixed or an adjustable rate mortgage. What I have been telling people now, I mean, our rates are so low, they may want to lean more towards a fixed rate than an ARM because it is fixed for 30 years. So if they get into an ARM for 5 to 7 years and it starts climbing, when the interest rates start climbing, they may not have made the best choice. And that's if they want to be in the home long term. If they're going to be in their short term, they may want to choose an ARM. But something just to go over with them. And we don't want to get into the lender arena, but I think we need to know enough to know that when they do talk to a lender, that they're confident in their discussion with their lender. And the more they hear these terms, the better that they'll be with them. And then the different types of loans, there's USDA, FHA, VA, and I think just knowing your time frames. Conventional FHA probably do in about 30 days. USDA is taken right now about around 60 days. Always ask your lender, but it's just something good to know, because if somebody needs, they're looking for something sooner than later, that may make a difference to them. Okay. Does anybody know the average number of homes a buyer looks at before they make a decision?
15.
How do you know, Bowen? Just kidding. Was it from the buyer consultation? Or you just knew?
I think maybe you told me that, or maybe I didn't.
It's 15. So, and for you, it may be different. That's an average. So, why is that good to know? It's good to know because it kind of preps your buyers for their expectation. They may have in their mind that they need to look at 40 houses. Well, the whole idea behind this is to try to find them exactly what they're looking for. You don't want to push them into anything, but I think them having, knowledge is power. So if they know that that's kind of the average, then they'll probably stick to that if you, give them that piece of information. Your average might be different. My average might be 6 homes. And I can give them, a list of why that would be true. So, but that is just a national average. Okay. Here's another good thing I think is good in the home buyer package, a checklist. Because I know a lot of my clients like to take notes. You give them the MLS sheet, but they still like to take notes. They want to remember, oh, this is the house that had a really awesome fire pit, or this is the house that had the pool in the backyard, or this is the house that had the awesome master bedroom and bathroom. So this just kind of keeps them organized, and I just say, I'll print out more for you if you need them, but it's just a checklist to keep them organized. Go over the different types of home inspections you can have. Home inspections, as you guys know, run the gamut. I talked to them about a home inspector. They are a general home inspector. They don't look at anything in specific detail. That's for other. I explain this to if you go to your regular doctor you just go in there and you get a checkup, okay? But if you are having, heaven forbid, a heart condition, they're gonna send you to a cardiologist. It's the same kind of deal. Like with a home inspector, they're only gonna look, they might, they're gonna look at the roof, they're gonna run the dishwasher, they're gonna go under the house, and they're gonna look at the HVAC system. But if there's something that they feel like needs to be investigated further, then you need to get that specialist out to take a look at it. So we usually start with a home inspection, pest inspection. We talk about the survey, of course. HVAC inspection's important. Radon. I've had people do radon around here. I've never had one test positive in Greenville. I don't know what your experience is. Some people just want to have that peace of mind that they don't have any radon gas. And for those of you who don't know what radon is, it is radon comes from the ground, and it's from a rock. And I know in Raleigh they have more problems with it than we do, but it's in granite. I think in granite countertops there's a little bit of radon gas that comes out of there, not enough to be, a problem, but if there's too much, then it has been known to cause cancer. So they will put in some sort of system under the house to draw the radon gas away. So it can be remedied. But you wouldn't know unless you had an inspection done. Any questions about inspections, home inspections? Title insurance. Does anybody have any questions? Do you guys know what title insurance is on home? Okay. A lot of times people say, what's that? Why am I paying for it? I always say title insurance equals title assurance. One of the Alan and I had bought a foreclosure home. This is one of the stories that I like to tell. It was a week after we moved into the house, and we had a water purifying system that was underneath the house. Somebody came knocking on the door and said, excuse me, I need that water system. And, if we weren't real estate agents and didn't know that we had title insurance to cover us for that, and know that we bought our home, free and clear, we may have said, okay, here, have your water filtration system. He had gone and, had it been, I don't know, 30 days, he had gone 9 months and didn't even collect the check. So in my mind, it was because he wasn't up on his accounting. So I didn't feel like we were really at fault, anyway. But he said, I want my water filtration system, and we said, no, we bought this house free and clear, and we have title insurance. So the attorney will go to the courthouse and make sure that there's no judgments or liens on the title. However, if there are, you do have to clear them before closing. And then at closing, you get title insurance because we're all human and we make mistakes. So if something did fall out, or happen, then you've got your title insurance to cover it. So that's what that is all about. Talk to them about the appraisal. What have you guys been seeing as far as cost on appraisers? Appraisals.
They call up.
$475, $430. I've seen between $350 and $475.
Big range.
Yeah. I think State Employees Credit Union, I feel like sometimes they have like a high. You think they have high one? Yeah. I don't know. I feel like sometimes they have deals on there. I'm not sure. I don't want to talk about something I don't know, but anyway, I see a range. So that is money that they will need to pay the lender up front. So talk about their upfront costs, because you may have the seller help pay closing costs, but there may be things that they need to pay for up front. I know our home inspectors and pest inspectors are wanting their payments up front now. They do not want them at closing. That has changed, a little bit in the past 3 years. I think what was happening was home inspectors and pest inspectors were doing their inspections, and they weren't getting paid for them. Like the deal would fall through and they didn't get paid. So they can still be considered closing costs. Check with your lender just to be sure. and they can be reimbursed for them. However, the buyer may need that money up front, and they need to know about it. So an appraisal is, I would say, $450. And then your home inspection under like 3,000 square feet is going to run you about $275, around your $350, somewhere around there. Your pest inspection is going to be about $100. Your a survey, if you'd like to have a survey done, usually you can pay for those at closing too, but they're running about $350 to $550. It depends. I mean, if it's a new subdivision and it's easy peasy for them, they're at $350. If they have to go through the woods and it's a huge piece of property, I mean, you're just looking at more money.
I know in the mountain they're about 1,500.
Yeah, that's
And then you got septic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Septic tank will run you about $300. Do you guys have any questions on cost of any of the inspections? Any other inspections you're kind of curious about? And then they'll want to have their credit check. So I say your credit, home inspection, pest inspection, appraisal, they'll need all that money up front, and their earnest money and due diligence. So, I mean, you're looking at about $2,000 to $3,000 right there that they're going to have to have saved. So somebody coming in and they've heard you can get a home with 100% loan and get the seller to pay closing costs, may not be thinking about needing $3,000, to move forward. So anyway, definitely something to have a conversation about. We have a home buyer's checklist and also a real estate glossary. It's funny, Amanda, when she first joined our team, she didn't have any real estate background, and she said, you were throwing out all of these terms to me, and I didn't know what they meant, and I was just going, and I'm sure that's what our customers do as well. So you go over them with them in a buyer consultation, and then they can go back and look at them. If they're like, what did she say about that, I don't know, fixed rate mortgage, what is that again? You've got some terms here they can refer back to. And then I put in the back a pledge to our clients. This is what we will be doing. These are all the things that I will be doing for you as a buyer's agent. This kind of sets the stage too to let them know all the things that you'll be doing for them, because there's a number of things. And if they're not on there, then they don't expect you to do them. So, and I say that because they just may not know. What does a buyer agent do? And I think in a lot of people's mind, we just find houses. We're a key, but we're more than a key. We do all this stuff. Okay, any questions about that? And I'll leave, like I said, leave it up here for you guys to look at. Let's talk about value propositions for a minute. There's over 350 real estate agents in our MLS. One thing that I think all of us need to consider is how do we stand out when there are so many real estate agents? I mean, and I had somebody tell me that when I was doing a consultation, or I was in a meeting with them. There's 350 real estate agents out there. I said, yeah. Let me tell you why you should choose me. Why do you think? And you guys, I mean, we can come up. You don't have to come up with your own value proposition today. But maybe for people who do not have a value proposition, what are some of the things that you think may stand out to other people that would be good for us to use in a value proposition? Anything?
I think honesty and integrity.
Great.
Communication.
Communication, absolutely. Why is communication so important?
Then he was stay in contact with them and with.
That means that you're only going to give them good information, right? Or happy information. Is that what that means?
Yeah. And
Only.
all, bad and good.
That's right. Communication, bad and good. It may
And
not
that goes back to honesty and integrity, so all of those three things together,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, it may not be that we like to make the phone calls. I know I do anyway. I like to make the phone calls when it's happy times, and when it's not so happy, I don't like making them. But we've got to do it. It's part of our job, and I think knowing that it's part of the job, you know, it's a little bit easier to do because you know that to be a great real estate agent, this is huge. This is what they expect us to do.
Patience.
Patience.
I think in working with buyers, that is,
This is huge. This is really huge. I mean, all of these are great, all of them. But I think the number one thing that clients complain about is this. So if you can stand out, you will be a sunshine.
and I know that sometimes we talk about communication, and so many, I hear a lot of agents say, here, everywhere, well, you know, they want me to be on all the time. They want me to be there all the time. But I think if you set the expectations of when you'll communicate with them, and you say, well, this is when I do this, and if I'm on another consultation, I'm not going to pick up my phone, you wouldn't want me to pick up my phone, you know. And when they see you in a consultation, your phone rings and you ignore that call, that shows them, I think, that, you know, I'm here for you, I'm with you right now. However, you know, you have to understand that I do have other clients, and, you know, so when I'm with them, I'm going to be with them just the same.
Right. Or if you're
Communicating
really,
that up front, I think is extremely important.
that's right.
Well,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I think one of the mistakes that I know that I've made, and that I think Wayne or somebody in one of our gold classes said was, I think you say, now call me anytime you have any questions. Well, if you say anytime, then you know what? They're gonna call you anytime. So I've tried really hard to not say that, because, you know, I think if you say it, then they're just gonna expect it. you
Right.
know?
Right. And it's a good time to go ahead and prep them during a buyer consultation too. I usually say, you know, hey, I lead generate every morning. I set my appointments at 1 and 3, and I work late on Wednesdays, and I do buyer showings on Saturday mornings if I'm not not off on that weekend. And I think just giving them the communication, if I want you to try to work with me to show you properties, so let's try to schedule those as far in advance as possible. One of the communication pieces that I use is, let's be courteous to our home sellers. If they're living in the house, let's try to give them 24-hour notice. So if you can tell me 1 or 2 days in advance of a property that you would like to see, it's more likely that you're going to get the appointment, number one, because if we wait until 2 hours before the showing, you may not get the appointment unless it's vacant. So I think prepping them with that is a great idea. And letting them know your schedule, is a great idea. Hey, I'll be taking vacation coming up during this week. I'm not going to be as prompt as I usually am. If you want to send me a text message, I might be quicker to respond than my phone, because I can say, hey, I'll call you back in a minute, whereas I can't maybe pick up a phone call. So just giving them, not saying you have to do what I'm saying, but just give them, communicate with
Set the
them.
expectation.
Or say even, and I've wanted to do this, and I may even do it right after this class, I return my phone calls at 11 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 6 o'clock. Monday through Friday. If you've got my voicemail, I apologize. I may be with a client at this time. I'll respond to your phone call as soon as I can. So any of that is communication, and it is, so that they don't get you and they're like, oh, she told me to pick up my phone, the call, or, they might have negative, but if they know that you're not going to call back at 11, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, then they're saying, okay, I'll wait till it's 11 o'clock.
Oh, that's right. She told me that
Oh,
she
she
does
told me she reads generate every morning. She's looking for buyers for my house, or she's, whatever. So I think it makes you more professional too.
I guess you can always,
We can't be 24/7. We can't be 24/7.
you can always put a schedule in your buyer's consultation.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Great idea. Great
That's a great
idea.
idea, Sandra.
Great idea.
But I think kind of in your voicemail too, I return calls at this time, and this time. then they get a reminder too that, oh, that's right, she told me that, I shouldn't have called her at this time anyway, I should have waited until, so.
And part of goal too, it's business objective life by design. So as you set these, you're setting the expectations. I mean, we have expectations of our clients. Once they become our clients, we want them to call us for all of their real estate needs, right? We also have, it goes both ways. It goes both ways. Good deal. Anything else? Value proposition? Value proposition could be I'm a luxury homes advisor, or I especially like to work with first-time home buyers. Any of your value proposition could be it's about you. So think about that. What sets you apart from other agents? Because they'll want to know that. And part of it is selling yourself. Okay, we've gone through quite a bit of this. Do you guys have any questions, like as far as the buyer consultation and the questions? I'm fine just having that list of questions right here in front of me. You do want to ask them that list of questions that I can share with you, but keep it a conversation. Wayne even mentioned that too. So if they start on a tangent and they start talking about something, my ideal home is one that has an open floor plan and the bedrooms are on 2 different sides and it has a huge backyard. Well, go ahead and start filling in those slots. Whatever they're talking about, just start filling out the questions. If they've already filled out that question by the time you get to it, so what? The idea is to get all the information, not, be so rigid that you can't have a conversation with them.
And then when you get to it, you can say, okay, well, listen, you said, earlier you said that you really wanted a fireplace. What is it about the fireplace? Why do you want a fireplace? Yeah. It gives you, it helps you build rapport. Absolutely. As well. It just is a little bit more, it's that taking it that step further.
Right. Which is a good segue into a video that I have. So let me pull up the video. Does anybody need a break, or do you guys want to just roll on through, or you want to watch the video, take a break, or just, okay.
I just want to remind everybody my birthday's open today.
Oh. Where is it already pulled up?
It's in Main Street Village.
Is that
Yeah.
wonderful?
Wonderful.
You trying to have that little line? Is
Yeah,
this the time?
so,
The food line?
yeah. 11:31.
I can come back.
Here we go.
Needs analysis, the systematic process of collecting information about needs, wants, and desires that is used to establish and define goals. Step 2 of the buyer consultation is the needs analysis. Only when you understand what is ultimately important to your customers can you deliver it. Many agents ask their clients, what do you want in a house, and stop there. They don't realize the answer to that question isn't the same as what do you need or what's important to you. Determining your customer's core wants, needs, and values is a process. Draw a line down the middle of a piece of paper and write needs on the left and wants on the right, and use it to track their needs and wants as you go through this process. At this point, you will have a clear understanding of what buyers need versus what they want, but you are not done. Now, you want to drill down and uncover their values by finding out why they need and want what they do. Use this question: what about blank is important to you? Let's see how it works. Say your buyer has told you that they want or need a large yard. You say,
But what's about a large yard that's important to you?
your buyer says, I like to garden. You ask,
You like gardening. What's important about gardening?
your buyer says, I like to spend time outdoors. It helps me relax. You ask,
make you feel relaxed. And what's important about being relaxed?
Your buyer says, when I'm relaxed, I can spend more quality time with my wife. Bullseye. A large yard equals family. At this point, you have uncovered a value. You can now look for other ways it applies to your buyer.
A large yard is important because it allows you to spend quality time with your wife, correct? So what else about your new home would be important to you in terms of spending more time with your wife?
Exercise. Find a partner in class and ask them about their favorite part of their house and why it's important. Drill down with your questions to find out why.
Awesome. Okay, any aha from that?
Keep asking questions.
Keep asking questions. I mean, they want us to know. They want us to understand. Again, we are an extension of them. They want us to do this job for them, and that is finding them a house and leading them through the process. So, and to find the great home and the best home for them is to understand why it's really important to them. So, very good. Okay, it is 10 after 10. You guys 5, 10 minutes?
Yeah. 5 minutes.
5 minutes is good? Okay. So, why don't we say be back by 20 after 10?
So,
Is that cool?
yes, I mean, that is what we were called.
Maybe.
What is it?
Do you want me, whoever would like a copy of this info,
Oh, yes.
I
I would, but I'm also like.
you want it in an electronic copy, okay.
You do such a nice job of it. You really
Well, I
do such a nice job.
I love the buyer consultation. It's my favorite thing to do. So, you want to write your name down?
Julie, how about like Nancy Winslow down there too? Would you please?
It would be my great
Since we're replacements together.
That's right. I have a niece who's very bad.
You know what?
You youngins.
I thought I was too young for that.
Too young for.
Hip replacement. I said, I thought I was too young for that. I did.
Did you have it replacement? Okay.
But I said I was too young.
Is it wonderful?
It couldn't be that. I'm too young for that.
I had my classes.
Yes, it was.
I was 17. No, I was 52. Yeah.
Did you want it replacement too?
No, I had a year.
Oh, a knee replacement. Wow.
This
Okay.
is a new name.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. I got to go to such a new fall. I only have my good knee.
And I have a hip.
Y'all, here's the sign-in sheet. We'll start at the sign and pass it around.
We had ordered these and anyway, we had to change our logo. We were like, well, we can keep using them until we'll just put the labels. Because if you notice underneath, that's all the section.
Oh, I saw that picture. And I love the wagon. There's a wagon in the car. You have to get him one of those. I think that was both of my girls' first birthday presents, a little car. Yeah, I can convert it, you know, you can push them to get converted to one that they can move themselves. Okay, I have reached out to 3 different people. Well, they have pictures. I'm not saying, look, I left my. It's so hard to take pictures. Has such limited time. What did you do? You call Courtney and
She's great for like, you know,
I'm very
yeah. I mean, that's what she's good.
Yeah.
Have you contacted Jacqueline?
Remember Brandon's my birthday today.
Can you do me out? I'm going to talk to you.
Okay. Is it long, short? Short. Okay, I can do it right here.
So it's getting out of the room, so I just remove my pocket.
I think that's what you got here.
$11 million words in here.
Is this?
That's probably it, yeah, because that would be also. That's it right there.
I believe some of it I can't. You know, like, these forms, especially, like the, my favorite things and the questionnaire and the buyer criteria, all that I can.
This is really cool because it gives them, these for people that, I'm assuming that I can't.
They pay, basically, we got these folders for free as they pay for their advertising.
That makes sense.
So if you need a copy of those,
Yeah.
I'll get you some. Sure. Then I'll get you here from the room.
I haven't yet, no, I'm going to follow up with them today, because I want to see if they think they're gonna need some extra time. I'm trying to schedule out pictures and stuff, so, I haven't.
They're very nice. They have a beautiful house.
Yeah.
Walking up to that, front door, I never even noticed the driveway. That's pretty unusual for me. I look at things like that.
Well, it's because the outside is immaculate.
You're
And
fascinated.
he showed me, he has the garden plan when they designed it, and it basically has like, I think 9 separate themes. So when you need to almost look at it and walk around and see the different areas, because they're all themed out and have different plants that bloom different times of the year. And just the fact that there's no grass, like you think, oh, you know, but there's not. There's only some right there, and then there's no grass in the rest of the road. If for somebody, yeah, but you know, he said that he truthfully only has somebody come in twice a year to like maintain it.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Because I've always liked the circular driveway. I mean, there's a lot of things about the house I really like. And I like their artwork, you know, some of it. You know, art's is a very individual thing.
It is.
I don't like all of it, but I did like a lot of it.
I was telling Tammy, I asked her if she wanted to go with me. You know, they have that Southern Living Concept house here in Greenville. I didn't realize there were only 11 in the whole United States. So they're having a thing tomorrow night in conjunction with City Art Gallery where it's like a showing of a bunch of art, and the house is going to be open. So I was like, I think we should go because I want to see it.
Yeah.
The house in art.
Yeah. They always have a layout in Traditional Living magazine. Well, maybe since Southern Living too. Maybe since Southern Living. I don't know. I like those magazines like that. And I take them. I don't know which one it is. You too. That's excellent. Yeah, sorry, I didn't see all of it, but I told you we had good training. You just gotta. It just isn't all the time. Day to day. That's not 24/7.
I don't know, I was just in a really not good, my mother-in-law was sick, and now she was dying.
Yeah.
I was just.
But I'm just glad to see that you are enjoying it.
Okay. Mother, that's great.
You do, you do.
Yeah, yeah, and I've been telling Kirsten has an appointment with your team leader. So to start your commercial division.
Okay, good.
So yeah, that's her great. And she's flipping a house now, so she'll have been speaking this listing. And so she's gonna be great.
Good, excellent. That's
Can you
great.
tell me about Kirsten Lewis? Yeah. Okay, she's a friend of, or she's an associate of mine too. Well, and it's funny you said that because I just went to a party this weekend and somebody was telling me that she was getting into flipping houses. That was one of the things that she was.
For like 10 years.
Yeah. Her daughter, I knew her through Oakwood, so.
From Maddie or Ellie or.
Well, her kids are older than mine, so but she was a mom that was involved.
Yeah, well, she's gonna be coming to California. So see her again. And so she gets her license in July. And so she's looking at a house right now. And so they're kind of in the midst of doing that. So she'll have her first listing when she gets there.
Yeah, she's awesome.
But her focus is, we were kind of just chatting. And she has her master's in business, and she's like, let's get my PhD. I said, why don't you just get a real estate license? Because, her husband Greg is a doctor. She's a radiologist. Yeah. She has like dinner club and tennis club and this club and that. I go, you are connected to half of Greenville. I mean, you have, your sphere is huge.
Yeah.
You know, but her main focus, she wants to really do commercial, because when she had her MBA, she did a lot of cost analysis for commercial real estate. So that, and then she would just do residential for, you know, friends. But her main focus, and they said they really want to grow their commercial here, so she's really excited about it.
Well, the name Kirsten is so unusual, so when you said it, I was like, it has to be the same.
Oh, because I'm from the West Coast.
I was
Super
just
nice.
talking about,
She's from Utah.
somebody was just telling me that at a party Friday night, right?
Yeah, so she's excited. So we've been talking about it, and she's going to be meeting with the team leader shortly. I think it's going to be next week.
Good.
So yeah, she's great. You'll love. Well, you do love her. You know.
Yeah, I know her great, yeah.
She's going to be a great asset. So I was excited to be able to share that. And I have been telling her how good Ignite is. Yeah. And I told her definitely to come to the E-Edge. You know, I go, try to come to the E-Edge. Yeah. You know,
Last year. How old is she?
she's
in her 40s.
no, I'm 56.
Right.
Well, I'm over 50, and that freaked me out at first. I just looked at the edge, and I was
It
like,
kind of scares you a little bit. It intimidates you until you get into it and understand.
well, I just got my first smartphone. It took me about a week. I got it down. I mean, once you kind of tell me what to do, just leave me there, and I'll do it.
Don't make me try to find out on my own. Just show me and I'll do it.
Yeah, that's how I am too.
Yeah, so
I think I'll get your phone.
oh, yeah, and I got it going. I tweaked everything.
What,
I got that.
Brian, the photographer, what Instagram is in?
Oh, I did everything.
So you talk,
I don't have kids, so what can you do with photography? And I don't look that was.
I contacted the head of the photography department, and also the communications to find somebody, maybe I know, to take this.
Well, did you buy it at Samsung?
Yeah.
Yeah, just go in the Samsung guy and set
It's
everything
already
up.
there.
Okay. I just went in there yesterday. If you hit, where's your mouse tracker? You go to your administration, show you it's there. I am very good at these.
Oh, yeah, I've got it down.
Hey, give me 2 weeks and I'll get it.
I haven't even set out to do it yet.
Okay.
So I got my apps.
Let's see, okay, so you,
I haven't get KW.
yeah, you just have, it looks like you only just have your, the only one in there is Tina Dixon and Hotmail. Because what you can do, like if you look at mine, I linked them.
How are you doing?
I just wanted to see them, I tell them what I want to do, and they'll show me how to do it. I was over there yesterday. So what it looks like is if you go like that, so like, this is my business one. And so what I did is I connected, so I go over here, and there's W.
Hey, Timmy, I had the TV out. I didn't want you to tell me being rude, but I have to check a little
And so I push it on now, so it's just right there. And so, because I
Okay,
have
so move right along.
and I won't be able to use it.
It's
like
past
I have to.
20 after, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started.
Switch them over, and then I get happy.
All those 25 is what we have to look at.
Yeah, my computer's.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, so they just, yep. So there's all my stuff, and then my utility stuff.
Well, if you do, it's not convenient or whatever.
Yeah.
That wouldn't say it's like.
Yeah, over.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I guess I'm not on the best
You
buy.
guys ready to get that going? Jen, you coming back?
I gotta get, when you go to Best Buy, and there's a person sitting there that is only Samsung. And for free, they're very for Samsung phone makers, but I wouldn't go to Sprint, I go to Best
Best
Buy.
Buy.
And go
That's
to
what
the
happens
counter,
when you take a break.
And so it's really like,
That's about it, but I just saw her yesterday, a lot of that.
she was doing it every
She gave me some, I got some really great ideas.
Just little,
Little tiny, I mean, like three really good ideas.
First,
Oh, today.
I was thrilled that she's not texting.
everything.
You just don't have much. That was the big aha, I love it. She can be successful without being on the 10%.
Because she was, as soon as she left her, she's out, she has to split her, that's all that.
She does, but she
She
doesn't also.
And
Use that team, everybody to do everything.
that will save you so much time.
But she didn't let her run the jet, that's what I I like that. She's so human. I know, it's please.
Her husband is super duper nice too.
Well, I mean, I'm not, you know,
Focus on.
The homeless and stuff.
I know you covered a lot of that already.
We did, I mean, I just wanted to go over my presentation because it pretty much does cover everything that's in the model.
I loved your presentation.
I appreciate it.
Well, did you have any extra ones of the things?
I can picture maybe one.
I don't have one.
Okay, so we're gonna jump right into, I wanna talk a little bit, we did talk about the needs analysis. I did not mention the 5 must-haves. I think that is super important in your buyer consultation because, you know, you can go through the list of questions and have them all answered, but just to drill down, because unless they build a custom home, they're not going to get every single thing they want. There's no such thing as a 100% house. We do want to drill down to what their top 5 are, and that's going to help us with our home search too. And it's been my finding that the more criteria they have, the fewer homes that they're able to select from. So if they had 15 must-haves, you may not find that house for them. But if they have 5, that's reasonable enough that you should be able to find them some homes to show. So 5 must-haves could be I need a large yard, or I need a 4-bedroom. Can anybody think of some 5 must-haves? When you bought your home, what were some of the criteria you look for in a home?
I often hear I need a garage because some homes don't have garages.
A big kitchen.
I hear that a lot.
Big kitchen.
That's really.
Family room,
Mm-hmm.
the size of the living room, okay.
Something
Big kitchen.
I heard a lot, and I don't know if he said it should or not, but a master bedroom on the first floor.
Master bedroom on the
It's a
first floor.
second floor house.
Mm-hmm.
Get one, I think it's a garage. I know that's like our hot button thing.
Right.
Our nose.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I hear a lot is I want a turnkey home. Well, great. It's awesome. Why is that important to you? What does that look like for you? What does turnkey mean? You know, we've got a lot of folks watching HGTV these days, and that will run the gamut. So when they say turnkey, move-in ready, what does that mean? Does that mean the condition is great? Does that mean it's completely renovated? Does that mean it's new construction? So, drill down in on that one and find out what that means exactly.
It may be just something as simple as they don't have to replace carpet or paint.
Could be as simple as that. Absolutely. So find your 5 must-haves.
All this kind of stuff.
Okay, we talked about this a little bit with Wayne. I want to talk to you about closing costs. What are you guys seeing as far as seller paid closing costs? Are you seeing? In my experience, I'm seeing a lot of it, unless it's a conventional loan. If it's 100% loan, I find that they usually need closing costs paid. They haven't, saved up the money, or they've saved the money for other things that they need to use it for. Anybody?
I had an agent come to me yesterday, and they actually called in. They were upset about the contract because they signed the contract, and then after signing it, they looked at it, and the people said they were going to get an 80% loan, and they asked for closing costs. It was like $5,000 closing costs, and seller assist. And the seller called and said, I would have never signed it if I realized that. And it wasn't the agent here that did. It wasn't even part of it, but I guess he knew it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, it should have been explained to you.
Right.
But it really doesn't matter. I don't see it makes any difference. But people are funny about closing costs. Some sellers don't pay, period.
Right.
Because I work closely with sellers, and it's something you just have to explain to them. When a buyer needs it, that's one thing.
Right.
But when they don't need it, it's another whole story.
Mm-hmm.
But should I look at it as you're taking $5,000 less for your period. And don't worry about that.
Absolutely.
It's got nothing to do with you. It's got something to do with them, if they're thinking, you get 5,000 less, that's it, bottom line.
To a seller, it's all about the net. It's all about what is my check going to be at closing. And that's what I usually tell buyers. I say you can ask for closing costs, but they're going to look at it as how much are you taking off the purchase price combined. You know, when you combine the closing cost, you know, if you want anything off you're trying to negotiate off the purchase price, the home warranty, anything you're asking for, all those costs that are combined, you know, typically once you do explain it to a seller, that's what they just want to see their bottom dollar where it needs to be. I would say typically. So, yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter why they ask for it. They ask for it. It doesn't just really.
It doesn't, and in the contract, it says up to $3,000 in closing costs or up to $5,000 in closing costs. That doesn't mean, so if you, at the end of the day, you go and you look at the HUD and their closing costs are $2,500, that doesn't mean the seller owes them $500. It means up to that amount. If they don't use it all, then they lose it. So be sure to have that conversation with your lender. Closing costs can be anywhere between 3 to 6%. So, you know, get an estimated sheet from the lender that they're going to be using so that you'll really have a good idea prior to going into negotiations as to what those closing costs will be. And I've learned to not even rely on my clients to, you know, I ask them for permission. Hey, I would really like to have a better idea of what your closing costs, what we need to, you know, to negotiate for your closing costs. Can you either provide something from your lender or can ask your lender for a sheet of paper showing the breakdown? Here's another thing that I have found too. A lender may say they need $3,000 in closing costs. Well, they haven't even taken into account the survey or the septic tank inspection. So as a buyer's agent, shouldn't you know what those costs include?
I have a policy in mind. I give a GFE on every one I sell. Not that I sell many now, but I mean, I've always done.
Right.
What's the GFE?
A good
Okay,
thing.
estimate.
And they have to give them one because it's the law.
They do, and I've been told that they don't have to give it until they have the contract, like 3 days after. But they do give. It's called it's some kind of estimated sheet where they do estimate based on a certain purchase price and
And
a
they
certain
have to give it 72 hours within, once they apply.
apply for the loan.
It's in 72 hours, is that changed?
That it's 2 or 3 days. Yeah, 3 days. Well, 72 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's when they apply. So if you're trying to negotiate and they haven't made application, then you're going to need to know that information. So, I mean, another good reason for them to have the approval, because you'll have a clearer number to use when you're negotiating. Absolutely. Okay, my customer service commitment. I talked about that a little bit in my package. I do a pledge to clients, what I'll be doing for them. You can also ask them about, if, you know, what if I want to give you a 10+ buyer experience. And everybody's going to be different. This is also in your package of information. The 10+ customer service commitment is available on the Ignite course page. So if you go into myKW.com and go to the Ignite section under Keller Williams University, you can find this tool. You can give this to them in the buyer consultation. You know, what is important to you, and you can find, you know, what is most important. I will respect your time and try to accommodate you. I will respect your phone call or email, respond to your phone or call or email as quickly as possible. I will discuss the benefits and drawbacks of each home in relation to your needs. So again, this is similar to the pledge, just in a different format. So this one would be a great tool to use. Okay, so what are your expectations of your client? Remember I said there are expectations of, I missed it. there are expectations that your client has of you, but you should also have expectations from your clients. You expect them to be honest. You expect them to be available to look at homes. You expect them to let you know when they're out of town. If their financial needs change, you expect them to let you know. You expect them to, once they do become your client, you know, of course, there was something Suzanne Ludwig had. She had a passport, which I think is really cute. So whenever they went into an open house, they could show them the passport that they already had representation. So I thought that was really cute. So you can show them FSBOs. You know, point that out in a buyer consultation. A lot of times people think we can't, you know, that you can't represent them in a FSBO transaction for sale by owner. So make sure you point that out in the buyer consultation. You know, if they see an ad or a sign, call me. I'm here. I'm your resource for information. Be as loyal to me as I am to you. That kind of goes along with the, you know, open house when you go and talk to an agent and they say, do you have an agent? You can say, hey, I'm now your real estate agent. That's of course after you ask for the close. So I'm going to jump back just a little bit because we didn't talk about the close. We kind of skipped past that point. So what is about our consultation? You know, I always ask, do you have any questions that are, you know, about the buyer consultation that we've gone over? I know we've gone over a lot of information. I know a lot of it is very new to them. Do you have any questions about me or how I operate or, you know, about our team or about the company? And if they say no, then usually I do ask for the close. I say, you know, we've had this conversation. I would appreciate it. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate your time. And, you know, at this point, how are you feeling about our relationship? Do you feel like we would have a good relationship together? And at this time, would you feel comfortable signing a buyer agency agreement to let me represent you in your home purchase? And most of the time, they say yes. You know, or they may say, hey, let me think about it, let me sleep on it, you know, but I will follow up with them the next day. But it's just a good way to just wrap things up and like I said, ask for the close. So, with that in mind, there are 3 scripts closing for the buyer representation agreement. They're 7-30. Let's look at number 1. Okay, who wants to read the script, number 1?
I'll do it. Okay. What we're going to do now is sign the buyer representation agreement, which puts me to work for you. I'm sorry. You're giving me the tool I need to represent you in your purchase. With this tool, I have the opportunity to negotiate for you and get you the best deal. And getting the best deal is important to you, isn't it? Perfect. Then let's do the right thing. Sign the buyer's representation agreement and put me to work for you.
What do you guys think about that one? One you feel like you could use?
It's probably not me, but it's good. I'll pick these up.
Well, and keep in mind too, and you can internalize them and change them. Wayne said there's a difference between someone, you know, do you want to get a deal or do you want to find a home for your family? So getting the best deal may not be what they're looking for. So you may need to change that line and say, you know, finding the best home for your family is what is most important to you, and I want to help you find that home.
And you can commit these scripts to memory and really get to where they're road free, then you're gonna be able to interchange and pull pieces from each one.
I love number 2. Take a little bit out of 3. I really prefer.
Okay. Number 2. Anybody?
Can you see how it would benefit you to have a professional looking out for your best interest as you search for the best home and negotiate to get the best deal? Great. This form allows me to represent you and look out for your best interests. Here's how we take care of that. You need to okay this agreement right here.
Awesome. Thank you.
I like that too. I like
Yeah,
that. Like, I'm here for
you.
And then I go into the next. I go into the next one too, about the loyalty.
Yeah.
I always talk about loyalty.
I do too.
So I put that in there too, I combine those two. That would be more the way I.
We call this our loyalty agreement, where I agree to be loyal to you and take no action detrimental to your best interests. It's a reciprocal agreement in that I ask you to give me your loyalty in exchange for me working nonstop to find you the best home at the lowest price in the least amount of time.
And it is a commitment. It's a commitment to you and your clients.
You're dating.
And you are dating.
You are dating.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. So maybe tomorrow morning on the 8:30 call, we can do a few of these scripts.
Yes.
Keep them out. Okay. So, and we're going to go over just a couple more scripts before we move on to find and show homes. Objection handlers. Like I said, there's going to be times where people don't say yes. And as I said, Gary Keller said, if you know your scripts and you can handle objections, there's no reason why you shouldn't be a millionaire real estate agent. So let's learn our objections as well as our scripts. Objection number 1, Nancy, you want to read for us?
Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, because of the level of service I provide, I can only work with buyers who work exposed.
Hold on, I'm sorry. The objection, turn the page, I think.
Yes, for the objection handler.
Yeah, there we go.
When you engage me as a real estate sales representative, you give me the tools that I need to represent you. That means that I get to answer you in a paragraph rather than a sentence. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Naturally, if you sign the buyer's representation agreement with me, I am contractually obligated to share any information about the seller's situation that I find out. For example, if it's a divorce, relocation, or estate sale. As a sub-agent to the seller, that means that I do not represent you, and of course I only answer you in a sentence. I want to be your advocate, not theirs. So let's do the right thing and sign the buyer's representation agreement today.
Awesome. Advocate. We advocate on their behalf. We are their cheerleaders. That's what we do. So without signing this, we can't really be their cheerleader. We can't really be their advocate. Are you really, you really
And I can't really go in and do the hard research for you.
I didn't have the script, but I did use some of this last week when I got that signed.
I like some of
It works.
Yeah, it did.
it.
I let them know.
Nice to be nice, I'm a nitpicker, but, and I love this, but you cannot represent a seller in this marketplace because our MLS, nobody in our MLS will allow you to be a sub-agent of the seller unless you're in the same company. So I personally wouldn't put that particular sentence in just because of that.
Right. Good point. I mean, good point.
Because you're telling them something really isn't so.
Right.
So I would change it around. I think it's good, but
How would you change it? I mean,
I
like
would
what?
have to sit there and read it, but I just would say that, I would just emphasize the buyer agent and not say too much about the sub-agent. Because when you can take them out of your car and show them houses, you're not gonna be a sub-agent. Not unless you are showing, you don't have an agreement with them and you're showing something in this, listed by this company. But you know, I'm the broker in charge and I'm real strict about that.
Yeah, but that's good to know. That's good information to have.
But you're not a sub-agent.
So I have a question. So if we're showing a listing in here that one of the listing agents from Keller Williams knows. So say, for example, you know I'm moving.
Right.
You don't share that with somebody else because we're in the same agency. I'm sure I have to be quiet and not tell other agents here because can they tell
Well,
what
personally, I wouldn't tell anybody, but no, we're not supposed to share it. But what people are supposed to do is do, often it's two different things. So
Okay.
I like to, be on the side of caution. But I don't think anybody would do that. I really don't. I don't think anybody in this company would do it. It's always good to keep your personal stuff close to you. I mean, it can't hurt. I mean, how can it hurt? So, I mean, I just look at it that way.
Sure, absolutely.
But we can only be a sub-agent. I can be a sub-agent of you, so I work for this company.
And even if I were to hire, a buyer were to hire me to represent them, you know, I wouldn't share that information with them about you. I don't think that would be, because it's a dual agency. And if I knew anything that she's shared, I couldn't disclose it.
That's what I assumed.
You would
So
have,
it was dual agency.
yeah, you would. Also, she wouldn't tell you, but she's in a dual agency position.
Correct.
It's more facilitator. Agency is funny, and there are people all over this town, companies just breaking it every single day, just blowing it wide open. I don't have to get away with it. But.
Okay, so we have learned about a buyer consultation, about the steps of a buyer consultation, practice scripts, studied how to use the buyer questionnaire, and I've familiarized you with the 10+ customer service commitment. Any ahas from this morning?
I really appreciate the reinforcement because I'm, 5 years out, I'm relearning.
Right.
So I love just getting the battery charged.
But she's the one to learn from. She's got it. She's nailed this.
I don't think we have anybody here that does buyers, that handles buyers better.
I do not put anybody in my car unless I have an agreement.
Well, I remember that day you came back from
And I said,
and you came in here, you said, Judy, I'm never, ever going to meet anybody in the house again.
And from that day forward,
And she never did.
now, and if it's one of our listings, that's my only exception.
I need it one time.
Yeah, it's my one-time thing, and I do try to make the appointment at that time. But if it's one of our listings, we are representing the seller, and I do want to get that house shown as much as possible. So that's my only exception. But it's worked out fantabulously for me. You get in front of them, you're the professional, you explain to them your value proposition, what you can do for them, and statistically, it has shown that most people, I don't know what the percentage is, but they'll only interview one agent. Get the appointment. Get them in here to talk to you. Because every single, you want to stand out, every single agent, I don't say every single agent, the good majority jump and run. Stand out, be the difference. Make the change.
Well, you
Make that change.
You think that there's a right up front. And I think that means a lot of people, don't you?
Yeah, if they like it, they appreciate it. Even though
Tammy, I got your egg materials. I
Awesome.
have a call from the notice, but I'll come back.
Thank you. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to do some real life situation here. Find and show how. So now we've got the needs analysis. I want to get into MLS. I want to, especially, new agents that haven't been here in a while, let's get into the MLS and kind of play around with it, and I can maybe show you some tips and tricks on that. I want to focus more on real life situations. I mean, I can go through this information, and like I said, I kind of talked about real life with the last session, and we covered pretty much everything.
Can I say one thing? I don't get much push after this, but you've heard me say this 100 times. When you have that buyer consultation, it puts you in control. And I always say, if you ever lose control, you just kiss them goodbye. But it puts you in control right at the beginning. It sets the standard, it sets the tone. But you're the leader, and you're helping them. Whereas you're running out there to show a house, and you got commission breath. It's just, it's a whole different.
you have commission.
Commission breath. Commission breath so bad it shows.
Oh.
Lisa's in there dying laughing.
I was working with the buyer yesterday, and I told him, I said, I'm not here to make the most commission. I'm here for you. Just keep that in mind, and I remind that. Because we had a buyer consultation, and I think giving constant reminders of I'm working for you.
Well, that first meeting just puts you in control of it. I mean, it sets the tone that you're the leader. If I ever lose control of the client, I just say goodbye, because I know something turned out good. But I try not to do that.
Okay, so we're gonna get into the MLF here. If you got multiple of your MLF, that'll be good. I'm gonna close out of this. And I'm gonna have to work from the back a bit, just so that you guys can see it on the screen and I can have the keyboard. Oh,
Now, are you gonna put the MLS on the screen?
yes, ma'am, I am. If I can get back to the, Well,
I'll be with you momentarily.
I don't know how to do it either.
technical difficulties.
Can I send you this contract for the next page? It's not pretty.
I mean, it's so pretty.
It's
They look like it came
not
from
like
the forest.
it.
The way they're arranged.
Oh, thank you.
And he also had the stick. The stick
I
helps.
hit my-
It does the stick helps. And the red flower. But thank you for saying. You got some nice flowers that you're making. Well, thank you for saying. They're not a whole lot, I just spread it all over there. And that, see, that little base doesn't require much, and that's the only one that fits in the cup holder.
Where'd that come from?
I thought it was gonna be too little for that tank, but it's all right.
I just
Oh, no, it looks good.
go like that.
Well, thank you.
And it popped.
I sent my brother a little arrangement like that when he was sick.
Oh, you did?
Well, it wasn't exactly like that, it was about that size, and it cost me $75.
Oh,
yeah,
It'd
yeah.
be on me.
And I called the florist myself, because I don't like it. I never had any flowers that came through any of those services that were any good or lasting any time. So I find the local florist myself and call, so that's what I did. And man, I tell you, a little teeny tiny thing. I just want to send them something, and they don't have
I'll get back to this.
edible
It's a good-
arrangements there, and I've seen that.
Is it that one?
Yeah.
Hey, good morning. How's everybody?
Just that one right there.
Miss
I know
Johnson.
which one, this one right here.
How's everybody?
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Okay, here
Awesome.
we go.
Contacted two this morning.
And after staying out till like every night, you were there, probably.
Well, they didn't get there till midnight, Sunday. So we were there Monday night and got back at 2 this morning.
But you did something fun Monday night.
That's what
He loves all of it.
Oh, does he really?
Well, there's a lot of this neediness, music place like Nashville kind of, but different, not country. I mean, it's really neat.
Okay, so find and show homes. What we're gonna start out doing, I think most of you guys know the basics of MLFs. I'll show you maybe some tips and tricks here. If you go to the search feature, there's of course residential, vacant land, commercial, multifamily. Do you guys know multifamily, what that means exactly? Okay. If somebody's selling 2 sides of a home, 2 sides of a duplex, apartment complex, well, that's more commercial. Do you have any?
Yeah, we look at duplex or the townhouse still goes in that category, doesn't it?
But isn't it?
No, it's residential.
That's right, it's residential and it's got a category
It
beside it.
does.
I'm sorry. I know that, I just wasn't thinking.
Sometimes, so 56. So if you're looking for 2 sides, I think usually it's 2 sides of a duplex or maybe an entire row of townhomes or A through D.
Mhm.
So if it's more than one unit, you will find it there. So if you have an investor looking, it's good to know what multifamily is. And then I didn't even know that there were rentals when I first got started. So if you do have somebody that needs temporary housing, some of our real estate agents have a property management business, and a lot of times they'll put it into MLS. So just know that there are rentals in our MLS. A lot of times they have to go through a property manager, but I think it's just good to know that you have this resource here. So that's the search feature. The hot sheet you guys should be getting every day. If you are not, you can go in and put in a time frame and find what's new on the market, or various other statuses. Maintenance, if you need to post something on the bulletin board, or if you want to see what's on the bulletin board, you can go through maintenance. I wanted to show you the reports. I know Julie was asking about statistics.
I was.
So if you want to know statistics,
What is bulletin board ID?
um,
Oh, that's just search.
Yes, the search field, I'm sorry.
right now, if you wanted to know statistics, we wouldn't have June. The latest we could really go back is May. So this is the NAR Homes report that I'm pulling up here.
Yep.
And you can pull it up. This has different areas. If you just wanted to see what was going on in Greenville, in the area of Greenville, for the month of May. This is a great report if you wanted to do, trends. If you wanted to see, compare May of last year to May this year, you can see this is a good place to get absorption rates too. Absorption means, how quickly will my home sell. So it's got price ranges, how many homes sold between, let's say, 70 and 80,000 with 2 or less bedrooms. One sold in the month of May, and it goes on down. So you can see how many homes have sold in the month of May and what criteria they're in.
And that would be in the town of Greenville.
This is only in Greenville. That's correct.
Or with a Greenville address. It doesn't have to necessarily be in the city, but if it's got a Greenville address.
Yeah, because like I live in Greenville, but I have a Winterville post office. So how would I show up?
It depends on how the agent puts it in the MLS. There is, when you put your listing in MLS, you can put it in and ask for area. So you'll put your address in there, but then you'll put area in there. So it's however the listing agent. This is only as good as our agents.
So if I were looking what's really selling the most, and I'm looking at this, I'm noticing that, okay, 14 houses between 120 and 140.
Right.
That seems to be the top selling, or the 200 to 249.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's kind of moving right now?
That's right, absolutely. And as you can see, I know a lot of people ask, are there many houses that are being sold in the $600,000 range?
No. Right now.
You can get all kinds of fun stuff.
Because I dated Carney.
Mm-hmm. So I had a buyer I was showing yesterday, and he is in the $400,000 to $600,000 price range. And he said, "Why are these houses sitting here?" I had printed him out statistics. I said, "Just look here. This is what's going on in our market. There's just not a lot of buyers, and this shows you, why that is." So, and then on the right-hand side, we have what is active and the sales that are pending. So even if I ran January, these numbers are going to stay the same because this is what is currently active and what is currently.
So it's cumulative.
That's right. Well, it's what is going on right this second, right this moment in the MLS. So let's see. So you can see really between 100,000 and 500. That's where the most homes are for sale. And then where the most are pending, between.
500.
Mhm. That's active. So pending is between 70,000 and really 400,000 is where the most are pending. There's a little, well, there's not too many there. Anyway, so I just find it's fun to look at the statistics. So this is where you can go on back as far as the MLS will go. So you just put in a month and you put in a year. I just find that this information is super
There's
helpful.
another report on there, I don't know if you ever used it, the one that's, absorption rate probability cell report.
Oh, that one's great.
Yeah,
That one's great.
because you can do a range in there.
So you have a single family home and you're wanting to know between 150 and 160 in Pitt County. We'll just do Pitt County. Well, I don't know. We'll just do Pitt County. Number of closed transactions in the last 12 months, almost 70. Last 6 months, 33. Last 3 months, 23. So the chances that you're going to sell your house in Pitt County between 150 and 160 is 45%.
And that's powerful. And when you start getting up the higher ranges, it's like less than 10%.
So, and I'm over on the buyer side of things, but to tell your seller, where do you want to be? Do you want to be the 50% that's not selling their house, or are you going to want to be in the 46% that's selling their house? Month supply of inventory to be absorbed. That is how many months of inventory for that price range is on the market in Pitt County. So there's, it's about, I'd say between 8 and 9 months of inventory in that price range.
And where do you see that?
See, it says month supply of inventory to be absorbed if no other homes come on the market. And it's a 9.8, 10.4, 7.4. I just took an average, just between, 8 and 9 months.
And you can go back and say 140 to 150 and run that. And depending on how the statistics look, they can have a better probability of selling if they're in that range.
Right.
So it helps you get a reduction. You see what I'm saying? It's really it's a way to present it to them that they understand. Because all this talking, most of the time they're not listening. But this I found to be very effective. I love that.
And that's called the absorption.
Absorption rate probability. The probability of selling, that's the big one. That's the powerful one.
That would be used when you go to list the house or to get a price reduction.
Price reduction. I just got a $25,000 price reduction on one of mine. It's already been reduced 50. So this is $75,000 in price reduction because their probability of selling was so low.
This is a market activity report, and we will do single family homes in Greenville. So you guys wanted to know list to sell. We talked about this with Wayne too. So closed listings. This one, I love this report too. The list to sell percent, 97%. I checked it, well, and it depends on what criteria you put in there. I checked it a couple of days ago. It was like 96.8 to this one showing up 97. But, it's important to know if somebody wants to make a lowball offer, just letting them know what on average is going on in the market. And I think that, we're supposed to be giving facts, not opinions. Well, here you go. This is all kinds of factual information.
Is that what that means?
Mm-hmm.
That a house is selling for
97% on average.
Of what it's listed for?
Right.
Oh, okay.
And that's looking at just the selling price. It's not looking at any concessions. It doesn't take into account any concessions, which is a factor in lower price houses. When you get the high price, what it can tell them is like, and my people say, well, I don't have any room to negotiate. And you show them in their price range how much people are negotiating. I don't care if you don't have any room. This is what people are doing. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't say it like that, obviously. But that's what you're leaving with. Isn't that right, Tammy? I mean,
Absolutely.
that's- price reductions are the hardest things to get.
So, so is that telling me that, what was the price range that you did?
I didn't do it right. I did it at a date range. So from this time, I did a full year.
So for the last year in Pitt County? was it-
In Greenville,
Greenville.
for single family homes. So it
They're
just depends on
generally
what.
taking 120 days to sell, they're getting 97% of list.
Right, that's for closed. And that's a good point. That's for closed listings.
Then we can look at Aiden and look and see what their percent is.
Okay.
Because they can do them. So you can see the different, I mean, it's the same issue.
Sure, and this is single family home, so it doesn't take into account, condos, townhomes, all that. I mean, they're gonna make a difference if you use that criteria. But so average selling price for a single family home in Greenville, so that's not all of Pitt County, is $177. I think all of Pitt County, maybe around $150. So, it just depends on what you put in there. You're going to get different types of information. So, pending average days on the market, 118. Oh, I love this. Expired listings, look how long their average days on the market are, 276. A lot higher, isn't it?
Mhm.
So, it's just some really good information here.
So for this, wouldn't then this is really very much a buyer, it would appear.
Well, they say,
Assumption.
I think what is it, 3 to 6 months
3 to 6
would
months
be,
is an average market, anything lower than that, so seller's market, anything above that's
Okay,
fine.
so if it's 120 days,
We're sort of in a
Kind of
balance
in the
market
middle.
right now.
it should,
But now that's just in Greenville. Now,
Right.
so you take into account other slower selling areas, you're gonna get a whole different picture. So that's why just statistics have got to be geared toward the listing you're going after.
that is
But
great.
I think these things are important for listings.
Well, yeah.
They're good for buyers too, but they're good for listings.
Especially when you're trying to look.
So you say you're gonna go list a townhouse, it's gonna be different than a single family. Sure. It's just not a.
but just to know that these things exist and know that you can tweak them for whatever property that you're selling or, helping a buyer. I mean, they like to see statistics too. And this is something that I learned. I mean, especially for new agents who have that limiting belief about, I don't have the experience. Well, anybody can get market statistics, and you're gonna shine. If you know your market statistics, I guarantee you're gonna outshine some of the agents with experience if you're giving them this information. So, I just thought it was a good.
Thank you.
That's a great resource.
Okay. So, we want to search for a home for our buyers. And through eEdge, we have the automated system that you can set them up, and they'll get updates daily when something new comes on the market. I think that the MLS is a good tool as well. It just depends on how you would like to go about sending them information. They can always get both. They can get your campaigns and also be set up on a listing card here. I find that the MLS has a little bit more criteria. So if you have a buyer who is really looking super specific information, like master on the first floor or something super specific, then you may need to use the MLS system to set them all up.
What's a listing card?
I'm going to show you. So the way to set someone up on a listing card, I'm just going to go back just real quick. Okay, so I have a buyer, and I will define homes that are active, of course, and they're looking 150 to 170. Which is around the average selling price. They want a single-family home. They don't have any particular subdivisions, but they said, you know, see, here's the area and city. They either want to be in a particular city or they want to be in, you know, they may give you an area. I want to be in, you know, I don't mind, Greenville, Grimes, London, Simpson. So you can, Winterville too. And just to share with you some information. Okay, some people say, I don't want to pay city taxes. Please, I want to be outside of the city limits. Keep in mind, and I always like to verify for my buyers, and I'll show you how to find the information in OPIS. You know, it is reliable information to a certain extent, but check for your buyer. Just make sure, you know, before they make an offer, if they really truly want to be outside the city limits that it is, you know. And like I said, I'll show you how to do that. Bank-owned, they may say, I want a list of foreclosed properties. And you can click yes here. You can't click yes here and click yes here because they're either one or the other. They're either bank-owned or government-owned. Do you guys know the difference between bank-owned and government-owned? Yeah.
Would it be foreclosure and then the other would be?
They're both actually foreclosures. So HUD homes are government-owned.
Okay.
Some, if BB&T is selling it, or then it's bank-owned. So just keep in mind, I've had to set up 3 listing cards for my clients before because they may say I want regular resale homes, which equity homes is what they label them in the book, or they may say I want, and I also want government-owned and bank-owned. So you have to set them up on regular resale, and then you have to do another card that says yes, bank-owned, and then you have to do another card that says yes, government-owned. But don't click on both because they can't be both. So that's just a trick to keep in mind. Okay, so I need so many square feet. My house right now is 1,000 square feet, and I really need it to be more than 1,400. I usually put it on the low end unless they tell me they have a maximum amount of money that they don't want to go past, which is usually not the case. I just plug in a really large number, but you do have to populate that field. Baths, bedrooms, you guys can do all that fun stuff. And then, of course, if they want a certain school district, of course, if you do, you know, you're going to be more limited if you choose an elementary school, whereas if you do a high school, it's going to be a broader search. Okay, and then we go to the coded features. You can tweak this all kinds of ways. I've had people say, I want a house that has a wooded lot. Well, there's a wooded lot. I think it's in miscellaneous. You guys find it before me. Let me know. Here it is. Wooded lot. I want a wooded lot. Keep in mind, though, that not all real estate agents consider trees on a yard to be a wooded lot. So, like I said, this information is only as good as the who's, you know, entering it into the MLS. So, if you do check that, I mean, you may want to go back and do. This is kind of the easy peasy way to choose properties for your buyer. But I always, especially, I'll show you how to set up a listing card. But once I do it, I always go back and look and add some more properties that I find. But this is kind of going to get you a good start.
You have to keep in mind the 5 top priorities.
5 top
I wouldn't use wooded lot in a search because
there's not going to be as many out there.
you're going to find something, and that's probably not in their top 5. Yes.
I just wanted to point out that there are ways that you can, if they're looking for something specific.
Those kinds of things.
And maybe you just want to leave that one off and then go back in and do a search on wooded lot and add those to your listing card. So, you know, there's no right or wrong way to do this. They want a fence. You can say, yes, I want a fence, rear only. They may only want a wooden lot, but like I said, the more criteria you put in here, yeah.
And that's not necessarily in, because a lot of people don't know rear only. They think it's the rear yard. Rear only is just the rear back of the lot. That's what that means, but you're not going to find it put in there right. I can promise you that. So I mean, I'm just saying, you just, look, it's just kind of reasoning.
Some of these are just, yeah, and I think that I've learned over time, like that many agents think one way and some think the other way, but you just have to master bedroom on the first floor was somewhere. That one is a good, I think that one's usually a good one to search.
And bonus room, that one is good.
Yeah, bedroom first floor, there's also a master first floor. Do you guys have any questions about any of the criteria that you see or what it means, or please ask if you do have questions. Anyway, okay. So then once you get through with that, you click accept and then search. And I found 2. Okay. I think I kept wooded lot checked. Anyway, so it's got trees. Woohoo! Okay, so I'm going to reset it. You guys know the basics. One, I do want to show you, if somebody wants to be in a certain area, we don't really have a way in our MLS to say, if somebody says, I want to be out by the hospital, or I want to be on the Grimesland side of Greenville. Well, there's only 2 ways that you can go about doing that. You can either do a map-based search, or you can, well, I'll show you the map-based search. So I will active 150. Have you guys done this before? 170.
So you put that in first.
Yeah, so I want all the actives in this price range, and I want to pick a certain area to find homes. So you just go click on that map-based search, and it's going to give you a map. So now we're going to put some kind of parameters around where we want to be. So if they want to be out by the hospital, I'm probably going to choose this area out here. You can choose to make your own shape. You can do a circle, or you can do a rectangle. If you want to do make your own shape, this is really fun. So you draw a line, and I'm just taking my clicker and just making an area. You can make it as funky as you want to make it. So if you want to make your own shape, I think that might close it off. You can. So we'll do a search. So it's giving you everything.
Put in the price range and then
Price range. Mm-hmm. Now the map-based search, I just to be cautious on the map-based search, I would never use it for my listing card.
Okay.
I don't think it works properly. But if you go in and you use a circle, that's going to give you a circle and give you everything in that circle. What did I think I chose A. See how it populates inside the circle? And you can just scroll down and see what's in there. So that's a map-based search. Like I said, I would not use it for a listing card. What I would do for a listing card, probably, this is Opus. Opus is something that, it's so funny, usually when I'm working with buyers, they usually already check Opus to see what they can find on the property. Because it's public information. Let's see. Let's put in, we're going to put in a random number and see what pops out. Okay. So this is Lee Holmes' home.
Lee Holmes' home.
What can you guys tell me? As soon as I click on this home, what do you think I noticed right away? What color is the screen?
Green.
Green. What do you think green indicates?
Yep.
It's inside the city limits.
Oh.
Okay. So the first screen that it pops up on is whether or not it's in the city limits or not. So if you zoom, that's the wrong way.
What color is that?
It's gray.
Oh.
So if I zoom out, you can see what is outside the city limits. So if somebody says, I want to live in or out, I mean, there's no way that you're going to drive around town and know what's in or outside of the city. And I say green. Let me step back. That's inside Greenville city limits. Winterville, if you notice, it's in pink. So when you're entering your listing and you need to know, is it in the city limits or outside the city limits? There you go. And this map is going to tell you all kinds of fun stuff. And just wanted to share with you some pointers here. The aerials, there's 4 different years for aerials, 2004, 2009, 2010, 2012. So we can see what the aerial view of this home looks like back at, this is 2012. Is it loading? So if somebody wants to see, I'd like to print this out for somebody, for a buyer that I'm showing property to. It never fails. They ask me, where are the lot lines? I say, well, I don't know because I'm not a surveyor. However, I'll give you a copy of this opus, and you can kind of see what the layout of the property line is. It'll give you at least a good idea. But I always, recommend that if they truly want to know where their lot line is, they do get a survey done. This is great to see, if you kind of get an idea of, especially if it's a large lot, where the fence is, where the buildings are. Now, this is not guaranteed by any means, but it kind of gives you a good shape of the lot. Trying to think, does anybody have a really large lot that we could look at on Opus that you can miss it?
What do you call really large?
Like, I don't know, a couple of acres. I'm trying to think. Let's look at.
That 77,436 is pretty large. Up there in the top. Look at the top.
77. Oh, this one? This one?
35.
There's not a house on it though. Let me see. Here, I got one. This is in Rock Springs. They're usually pretty big. 215. Okay. So you can see where the house sits. You can see the driveway. You can see the trees. Anyway, it's good. I like to print out the aerial view. Somebody had asked me before about fire hydrants. This shows you where the fire hydrants are. See the red dots? They're fire hydrants. Floodplain, another great piece of information. So if you ever want to know if the piece of property is in the floodplain, obviously this one is not, but I see a little tail coming in here. So anything that's going to be shaded, you're going to see is in the floodplain. So just good to know if it's in the floodplain or not. School districts, okay, so I kind of got off on a little bit of a tangent, but if you want to see, and these are the elementary school districts in Pitt County. So if somebody wants a particular area, maybe they may not even want a certain school district, but maybe that school district's in a certain area, that may be helpful for you when you do a home search. So they want to be in the country, out on the side of the hospital. So you may put in the search criteria, Falkland Elementary School and Northwest Elementary School. Isn't that going to give you the same results? Or similar? You may still have to do some searches, but if they want to be in a certain area, you maybe say, here's the map, why don't you choose which area you'd like to be, and then you can set that up in your search criteria. I just found it to be helpful because there's no other way to choose if they want to be in a particular area. It's just kind of the way I found around it. So, and also when you're listing property, like I'm sure you need to, this is how you go find the elementary school, the middle school, and the high schools. They're all in there. Utility information. So if you want to know if who services, this is really cool. This is something I stumbled upon recently. If you want to know who services certain areas, BA is Bell Arthur Water. See the BA water?
Mm-hmm.
GEC Electric. So you may have an idea of, somebody might say, who has the water and electric out here? Well, that might give you a good starting point. You can call and verify, but that's just some information that's in the map. Any questions about any of this? Very good. Okay, so somebody want to know about a listing card. The way that I do it, if you go to the home screen, on the right-hand side is going to be fields you can choose from. You want to choose Prospect Manager. Okay, so if you want to add someone, you go to the top and click Add. You're going to put in their name. And you want to, and their email address is super important. You can put in their other information if you want to keep track of it, but name and email address is most important. How frequently do you want them to be notified? Is it somebody who, and you may just want to ask them, do you want to get an update daily? Or do you want to get an update weekly, monthly, ASAP?
So ASAP as soon as possible after it's listed.
You know, I've never done ASAP.
I think it is, but I'm not sure.
That would be really cool. I'll have to test that, but I would imagine that I think that would be really cool. So if you have somebody that's just kind of browsing, but you want to give them something of value, send them up on a listing card. It takes no time at all. But if you have somebody that's right ready to go and they need to know that, when new things hit the market, they need to know immediately. You can say, I want it to send me things daily. And this one is saying I'm going to send it out, daily. If you send it out weekly, it's going to give you the option to change the day of the week. So let's say their day off is Wednesday every week, and they say, send it to me Wednesday so that when I'm off, I'll get to check it. You can change that as well. Email me. If it's somebody that's hot and ready to buy a house, I want it to email me because then I get notified as soon as they're notified. And then that prompts me to call them and say, hey, something new's come on the market. Have you seen it? This one looks like a really good fit to you. When would you like to go check it out? So if it's somebody that, like I said, may buy in a year, you may not want it to email you every single time. You may want it to email them. So this is the email message that goes out to them. Just keep this in mind. This is very important. This is the email message that is sent to them every time they get an update on their listing card. So you don't want to put something in there that is, hi, I'm Julie, just wanted to introduce myself. Because if you do that, then every time a new listing comes on the market, it says, hi, I'm Julie, I just wanted to introduce myself. You'll be introducing yourself a whole lot. What I usually like to type in there is something that, something like this. Check out what is new on the market. If you see something that sparks your interest, let me know, or whatever. Just, so that every time they get this message, they're getting a message about what's new on the market, because that's what's happening to them. Okay? Then you can put notes, whatever, okay. So that gets them started. And then now I've got to find me. Oh, there I am. Whoop. Okay. So now you need to populate the search criteria. And the one, I don't know if you saw that, there were two little icons under my name together. The one to the right was the one we got. If it will let me. Okay, see the little icons down here? If it doesn't have an hourglass, that means that you haven't put any criteria in your search. So this one, it looks like little binoculars and a pencil, I think. That is the one that says, and when you hover over them, it'll say edit prospect, and you hover over this one. Hold on, give me a minute. Hover over this one. Edit search criteria. The other one will say, this one says search for matches. This one say email. This is the prospect view of the cart. Email history. Or clone if you want to clone them. So if you go in here, you can search. You can put your search information in for your particular client. So we're not going to go. We've already gone into detail with that. But I'll just set them up. I want active 150. Oops. To 160. Okay? And then instead of doing the search, you're going to click Save Prospect. Oh, I think I have found some blockers, pop-up blockers. Anyway, if it gives you this, then maybe you should have seen it, because you may have pop-up blockers. I'm just going to, I don't know what to do here. I'm just going to go ahead and put my information in again. Bear with me. I'm just putting this stuff in there. Okay. So I'll probably have two in there now. That's okay. You guys get the gist, right?
Yes.
So you see I have two, and that's because one, that was the one that came up, and there was some pop-up blockers, so it didn't allow me to go through with it. But like I said, if you have problems, just let me know, and I can help you around it. So now I have set up the search, but there's nothing in the cart. There's nothing in it at all. You just told it what you wanted it to search for. So in order to get it set up initially, then what we're going to have to do is search for matches. So we'll search for matches, and then a lot of stuff's going to pop up because I'm sure there's a lot in that price range. You can either add everything, or you can choose, which ones you want to go in the cart, and then click Add to Cart, and they'll go in there. So now when I look back at my cart, we'll go back. There's going to be 3 houses in there because those are the ones that I selected to go in my cart. So see, there's 3. It says active cart. There's 3 in there. So this tells you when the last properties were added. Here's the other cool thing. I can tell when people were last logged in and looked at the listing cart. See? 6-8. There's been several people on there today. Some on yesterday. So Anyway, this kind of allows you to get in the back end of the what they're seeing, so you can kind of, if they've looked at the same, they can flag properties as their favorites, and you'll be able to see that. Here, I'll show you what that looks like. Prospects view card. So this is what they see. Who uses this? Does anybody use this right now? Okay.
I would love to do it one day.
See how those pop up. What is going on? I'm having technical difficulties.
Let's just plan a day, everybody set one up.
My apologies, y'all. This computer is not allowing pop-ups, and so let's see. Let's see if I can fix that. We can come back if you guys want more detail. I think you can just.
I would love to sit down with you.
Okay. And I'd like to do it as a class so that we can get everybody's questions answered at one time. So anyway, but that's the gist. So basically what we're doing, we add it to the cart. Now it's going to populate. So, you know, that's the gist of the listing card. It's really cool. Any questions? Okay. Do y'all have any more questions on MLS? Does that give you a little bit better knowledge on
Yes,
MLS?
very great.
Little more knowledge on Opus?
Yes. A whole lot more.
Okay. And I know we're kind of hitting on 12 o'clock here. CSS. Do you guys have any questions about CSS at all? Had a scheduled showings?
No, I don't have
For you?
how to do that.
Okay. One thing that I did want to show you just really quickly, if you have a listing that is in a particular subdivision, choose a market. Okay. I wanted to show you how you can see how many houses have been shown in that subdivision.
Oh, that would be great.
So instead of me just sitting up here talking, I just figured some real life stuff would be fun. Okay, so you might have to give me a chance to find it for a minute. Agent report? No, not it.
No.
22 what? 12, right?
You stop on the next time.
All right, here we go. So, agent listings, individual listings, market listings by location. Okay. So I went to agent statistic reports, and then I went to location is where I went. So if you want to know, you put in a time frame in the past, I don't know, 180 days, or if you don't want to do it that way, you just want to do it custom, and you want to know since you started showing the property, or we'll do since January until today, or yesterday, we'll do.
Can I do that on anybody's property?
Anybody, any subdivision. That's what's really cool about this report. Okay, so you want to say between these dates, how many times have homes been shown in
Ashley Meadows.
Ashley Meadows? In Ashley Meadows. Well, that's gonna pull regardless. Okay. That's just January now, so just keep in mind, whatever you put in here is gonna get you. So if you just wanna know how many times that the homes that are active in that area have been shown in the last month, just put in the last month. So on average, there's 14 listings in Ashley Meadows right now. That's current. Okay? So the average per listing that has been shown is 6 times.
In a 6-month period.
In a 6-month period.
Wow.
Because the total number of showings is 84.
Right.
Isn't that pretty cool that we have that information?
Right.
So this is right from CSS.
That's great.
Any subdivision that you want to see.
So you just close this.
This is a great, I mean, you can email this report too, so to your sellers, they want to know, what's the activity going on in my, and especially if they say my house is not getting shown. Well, let's take a look on average and see how many times other houses have been shown. So if their house hasn't been shown at all, and the average is, 5 times a month, then what is the reason why yours isn't being shown? So if you go to, this is in centralized showing, you guys know how to set appointments, so you just schedule appointment here. To the right of that is reports. So just go to agent and office and agent reports. So it is a report. And the report is going to be market listings by location. Pretty cool. Huh? Okay. So I wanted to go over showings with you. We talked about one other thing that you can print off too. Here's the code of ethics. I put those. I want to start putting those in my buyer packages. That's the reason I brought that one up. I think that's a good one. You talked about standards. You know what? I just Googled code of ethics. This one looks like an old school one. They may have one that looks pretty. It is pretty. You can print that out on a really nice thick sheet of paper. That looks fancy.
It says 2012, is it one soon after that?
I'm not sure.
You can just Google it, AR or call somebody up there.
All right.
Where are you trying to get to? PDF?
Not there. We've already done that.
I guess.
What are you trying to get back to?
This one.
Hold on. That's it. That's the same thing.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Doesn't say the age it is.
Okay, are you guys up for just a couple more minutes?
Sure.
Just kind of breeze through the rest of this information, and then you guys will be good to go. Head full of knowledge. Okay.
When you go over to the internet, if you go back up to that corner, it'll pop this the video back up for you. Just so you know.
Does someone want to read what Sean Pakoska? I really like reading these. Can you try to read that one for us?
Is it the one on the board right there?
Yes, ma'am.
You can beat the averages. You can beat the averages. When Sean Pakoska, Mega Agent and Buyer Specialist in Denver, Colorado, was working exclusively as a buyer specialist, on the COSA team, he showed an average of only 6.3 homes before his buyers made an offer. One of the keys to showing success was setting clear expectations right from the start. He used this script. What I have found is that the average buyer I've worked with looked at 6 homes before finding one. Now, this might be fewer than what you would expect, yet keep in mind that I am a buyer specialist, which means that my only job is to help my clients find the perfect home. So once I get that picture in my mind of exactly what you are looking for, I should be able to take you right there. And you want to see the best home, and you do want to see the best homes, don't you? Of course, not all of Sean's buyers made an offer after seeing 6 homes, but because he had established such clear expectations, they would often apologize for blowing his average. At this point, Sean would simply say, "Don't worry about that. I'll do whatever it takes to find the perfect home." And you can make it up to me by just sending me a referral.
And I'm sure he said that very jokingly. And I would say it too. Oh, that's okay. I know you're going to be sending me some referrals.
I dare you say that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Keep it light, y'all. I showed Barbara yesterday. We had so much fun. And I said, you know, and part of it is looking at the house and, you know, being professional, but I mean, have a little fun too. And, I mean, it is.
To be professional and still have fun.
Absolutely, and it is the fun part for buyers, because once you get under contract, I mean, it's not the fun stuff anymore. It's just getting documents to the lender and all that good stuff. But like I said, 15 is the average amount of times or homes that buyers see, but that doesn't have to be true for you. It could be 16. It could be 10. You know, you guys, you assess your own averages and make it work for you. So keep in mind too, as you put your criteria in MLS, like we said, keep the 5 must-haves. You know, focus in on those. That's why you have the buyer consultation. Okay, one thing I did want to point out on page 8-14. We've already gone through the needs analysis, and I believe I've already mentioned this too, but it's not going to hurt to go over it again. There are needs that they have, but what are the main reasons why, you know, what are the benefits behind the features that they're looking for? So as you've done your buyer consultation, you know, just for an example, yesterday I tried to keep all of those in mind for my buyer consultation, so that when we did, he said he wanted a real wood burning fireplace. He wanted a place where his children could ride the scooters. He wanted a place to put his trampoline. And so as we're going through the house, you know, it wasn't, oh, this is a nice large yard. It was, oh, this might be a perfect spot for your trampoline. Let them see themselves living in the house. So I think just relating to your client is going to make a big impact. You know, they had a huge wood-burning fireplace outside. It was absolutely gorgeous. And I said, you know, can't you just see your family sitting around roasting s'mores? You know, make it real to them. So let's talk about, I'm just going to do an exercise real quick so that everybody can engage here. We'll do features and benefits. Okay, what are some of the features that buyers look for?
A garage.
A garage. What about a garage is important to you?
My husband is he's just so interested in having a place where his tools and his things can be stored. And for me, a garage means my car is not freezing in the morning.
Yes.
During those cold winter months.
Do you see how this takes you to a new level?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
this is almost, and there is a difference, I mean, between, this is an average agent. This is where the above average agent really gets in your head. You want a garage? Here's a garage. You want a split plan? Here's one. No, this is good. Now, how about, look at this garage. Look, there's paperwork. You have a place to put your tools. And look, there's an extra little storage area right here. You can really organize your things in there. And you know what? There is extra room for your car in there so that when you get up in the morning, you can just pull right back out of the garage and go to work. Isn't that really cool?
That would be nice.
It makes such a big difference.
It makes a huge difference. They love you. That's where you get, this is like the heart. What's another thing?
Master bedroom on first floor.
Why is that important to you?
Because no steps, knee problems.
Okay.
And that's what I just so she had a knee issue and she didn't want to climb steps. But she wanted it upstairs too.
Okay, absolutely. What else about having a master on the first is important to you?
To me, easy access to the rest of the house.
Okay.
Kitchen at night.
And that's that.
I mean, it is. It's the heart. Who cares about the master on the first if you don't know about this stuff?
Right.
What's another one?
Family room.
Family room. And most of them have either a dining or a living room. Can you tell me a little bit more about?
They want 2 sitting rooms. One, oh, I know what it is.
Like a formal and informal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So formal and informal living space. And tell me why that's important to you.
Family gatherings in their family room.
Now, would you gather more in your living room or the family, or in the formal or informal?
Informal.
Okay. And in what capacity would you use your formal living space?
If I have certain guests and I want to bring them in and they're not interested in looking at the TV, I don't have a TV in there.
Oh, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So entertaining, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So this is more for. This is more for TV. So, I mean, honestly, I'll tell you why it's really helpful for me. It gives me something to talk about. Because after you get through, you know, you're looking at the third and fourth, I mean, it kind of gives you talking points too, you know? Because once you are in the same, you know, you go, especially if they're like, I find like new construction, you know, sometimes I get a little, I hate to say it, bored. If it's like certain houses that are within a certain price, there's not going to be a lot of variation. But if you remember these things, then you can have conversations with them about things that you talked about. It gets you talking.
And they're kind of getting misty-eyed and dreaming about seeing themselves in that space.
Right.
And that's what it's all. I mean, that really is what plays to their emotions.
Absolutely.
Now, the one I had also, she wanted a center island in the kitchen and we found
Okay.
it was important to her because she liked space and she liked to cook.
Yeah.
And more storage.
And I would also even consider for something like this, because this is kind of changeable, I like to tell buyers, focus on the things that you cannot change. Focus on the floor plan, focus on the location, focus on the curb appeal, you know, or like the style of the home. Something like this, if you found a kitchen large enough, you know, you might be able to add something like that. My garage, probably not easy to change. Master, not easy to change. 2 living spaces unless you add it on, you know. So, anyway, that's very good. Awesome. Awesome, y'all.
You're awesome.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
She's got it down.
You got
I
the
love working with buyers.
fashion.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so bring your buyers to a decision. So we do, of course, have to ask for the clothes. And I do use Wayne's suggestion. If you guys were here, you heard him talk about keep your top 1, 2, and 3 in mind. And let's get rid of the rest of them because they do cloud your noggin a little bit. So, and I know I'm going to get you out of here in 5 minutes. I do want to wrap up. Oh, that's right. Okay. What was I going to say? You do have to close them. So get them to keep their top 1, 2, or 3 in mind. If you go show them houses again, start with those 3. And then as you go through more houses, only keep those 1, 2, and 3 in mind. And at the end of the day, I kind of do that jokingly too. You guys ready to make an offer? You can do it serious. It just depends on your personality. But always try to close them. Always ask them if they're ready to make the step. Are you ready to go back to the office and do a CNA and look and see, what's selling in that neighborhood? Ask them the questions. If you don't ask them, you won't ever know. Never leave the appointment without scheduling the next. If they're not ready to make an offer, decide when it's going to be the next time for you to meet with them. You do not want to leave them and then, be the blind person and not know when they're going to take that next step.
You lose momentum with that too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you have them looking and they're excited, you want to capitalize on it as quickly as possible. Strike while the iron is hot.
They also suggest, a couple of other things, they suggest that you show the best homes first. I don't always do that. Or you can do some of the best homes, the one that you think is going to be their most favorite, you can kind of leave that to the end because they may fall in love with it at the end and it's fresh on their mind. There's techniques and strategies for that. I tend to do it in the order of where they are. So if they're, one home starts here and it kind of goes around Pitt County, I just kind of schedule them based on the quickest route. But I may end up with the one that best fits their criteria, or I may start with the one that best fits their criteria. But in this market, I feel like folks usually are not going to see 1 or 2 houses and be ready to make an offer. So if you've got 5 to see, and you put I don't find that to be a problem. So anyway, let's continue to practice our scripts and get really comfortable with all of this fun stuff. Any ahas from this last Fun and Show Homes? Anything you learned that you didn't know or that you
I really loved all of your information on the listing card and where to find the reports, and you were very, very knowledgeable, and you're quite motivational.
Yes, you are.
See, Tammy?
And you're cute.
Really, I learned a lot.
And you're just fun. She is. And she makes so
Well, she tells it to you like it is because she's done it and she's
I'd like
not.
to have a listing alert that I need to put in while you're telling me how to do it.
Okay,
Because,
we can do that.
Yeah.
Y'all let me know. I'm here to help. Okay, so tomorrow I'd like to see all you guys, your smiling faces, because we're going to be here for, our make and receive offers.
Okay.
Good. All right.
that would be nice.
I'll make some call from other people.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Let me turn the broadcast off.
That was lucky.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, I need to thank you too.
You were very well. Thank you for being here. No, sorry. Seriously, thank you for taking your time out of your day
Thank you.
To make yourself better.
We'll make ourselves better. Help us.
Right.
I know you will match it.
And I will get you, here's the folder to grab you. So these, they don't have anything in them.
Right.
And I'll email